welcome back to episode 13 of Generations Behind, a podcast where three dorks talk about old video games mostly. Sometimes we rant about new games because we can't help ourselves, but mostly a retro video game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Craig Brosnan of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, the lovely Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I was late for the 7th straight episode, so it's good to keep the streak going.
Yes, that's it's not a recording session if Zach isn't the last one on. Tyler, below me, the beautiful, delicious one, Tyler 8. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty great. Got right off of work, came right here. Expected I was going to be the one late, but here we were. It was all right though. Me and Craig got to talk a little bit, but now we're all here and we're all ready, and Craig's all official because he even said his last name in the intro to
I
talk
know.
about.
I don't know why I did that. It just kind of came out.
I was like, huh? But yeah, we're all here to talk about our favorite retro-inspired indie game.
Yes, I did say my last name. Unfortunately, I'm not related to Pierce Brosnan. Otherwise, I probably would have a lot more money.
Oh,
Yes,
that was the only
today-
reason I was still doing this. I didn't realize that was...
Well, time to head out.
So today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite retro inspired indie games. What we mean by that is think of like a Shovel Knight or I'm trying to think of some other example, like a Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, like a modern day made game that is very clearly inspired by stuff that came before it. And we're all big fans of retro games and indie games, so we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. We all got a list of games here that we want to highlight for you all, and we had some write-ins too, which is of course very lovely. Thank you all for writing in today. A lot's happened since the last time we talked, guys. I can't walk, so that's not fun. I sprained my leg so bad I am on crutches. So it's been a rough week.
Rough.
But I got some Chick-fil-A on the way home today before we recorded. Got some of my Chick-fil-A mayonnaise. We are happy and ready to go.
Put some mayo on it. It'll fix it.
I would like to address, I got some constructive criticism on our Ape Escape episode, which is totally valid. We didn't really explain what the game was, and I think that that's fair. You don't really know what Ape Escape is if you haven't played it. So I would like to apologize if you listen to the episode and you're like, I didn't get much out of it because what the hell is Ape Escape and how does it play? So that's something we definitely will try to do better on in the future. We've mostly talked about, I'd say, more popular games up until that point. Not that Ape Escape isn't popular, but it's not like an Ocarina of Time where most people already know what it is. So we'll try to keep that in mind for when we do our next game-specific episode, which is Clock Tower. So that is going to be 2 episods from now, if I'm remembering right. Yes, 2 episodes from now.
Super Famicom.
Yes, so we were originally going to, kind of rely on the re-release, and it turns out the re-release comes out after that episode would post, so we're all going to be playing the Famicom version. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Please play along with us. Let us know what you think of the game. And before that, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing our favorite Halloween/fall levels. So if you guys want to go ahead and write in about some of your favorite fall and Halloween themed levels, we'd love to hear that from you guys as well. So I think that pretty much goes over everything except for the fact that new Craig's Game Room video finally finished the Vita set, ladies and gentlemen. Long time coming. Very excited about that. So
Let's go.
if you guys would like to go watch that video and support it, I would definitely appreciate it. We have
A
an
year
audience
from now, I'm
write
gonna put that in the history.
I'm sorry? Is that
A year from now, I'm gonna put that video game history. It's gonna be in
That'd
there.
be really funny if you remembered that. All right, so we have an audience write in to start us off. This is Patrick saying, Patrick here. I was the unopened Switch game write-in from last episode, but he wants to know, what are your favorite Astrobots from the new Astrobot game? So I am, of course, extraordinarily biased. It's going to have to be Cat and Raven from Gravity Rush for me, because Gravity Rush is my second favorite game of all time. This is... Her being there is probably the closest thing I'll ever get to Gravity Rush 3, which is heartbreaking. But there was a lot of really cool, fun bots. A lot of characters I didn't expect. I don't want to spoil too many, for people that still haven't played the game in case you care about being surprised. But I will say, one of the coolest ones that I saw, and I was like in disbelief when I unlocked it, was when you get like the little boy from Boku no Yatsuyasumi, which is a Japanese exclusive PS2 like life sim game where you're just hanging out at your grandparents' farmhouse in Japan. I was like, nobody fucking knows what this is. This is crazy that this is a reference in this game, but it made me very happy because I have not played those games myself, but I've watched a lot of videos on them, and they're very high up on my like wanna play fan translated games. So I thought it was cool, just that the game has representation for such niche stuff. Tyler, what was some of your favorite bots?
Well, to no surprise, Ape Escape, all the apes, and then also getting Spectre at the end of it. Because I love Ape Escape. You should know that by last episode. Unfortunately, you don't know what the game plays like or whatever Craig said. But, however, it's a great game. That one, I really liked the surprise at the end. I'm not going to say who it was, but the final bot you get, it really caught me by surprise.
That was super funny. That was a great final bot.
Like, I was walking up, I was like, oh, who's this going to be? And I was like, no way. So that was pretty cool. And it was kind of cool seeing some, like, RPGs get some love. Like, from Wild Arms. It's cool seeing that get some love. And then, of course, the Jak and Daxter, just the main PlayStation bots, but yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I feel bad because I don't know if we can really talk too much about the bots without it being spoilers at this point. But if you're a fan of like Sony JRPG specifically, there's a lot of fun surprises that you wouldn't think would be there, which is cool. So like there was a couple where I was like, they remembered this game existed. And
shout out to the Mr. Mosquito bot. Just saying.
That was really funny. Yeah, I could not believe that.
But well, I don't know. Would it be too like spoilery if I say one that wasn't in there that was kind of a surprise? You think?
Yeah, just say it. You're fine.
Yeah.
All right. One that was not in the game.
You can skip 10 seconds if you don't want to hear.
Yeah. All right. So skip it forward like 20 seconds to be safe. One I'm surprised was not in there was Sweet Tooth. Why did we not get Sweet Tooth in it? However, with that state of play, and it shows Eve and the Helldiver in the back, it kind of looks like he's there. So I
definitely think he's there.
I am hoping.
That'd be a weirdo mission. That'd be a very weirdo mission.
Yeah. So that's like a PS1 staple. So.
And we're back. All right, welcome back to the people that skipped.
Can we go back to real quick?
All right, skip ahead again 30 seconds.
Yeah, skip. Yeah, you got 30 seconds. Give us your spoiler.
A weird lack of like Square Enix representation, like Cloud.
I was surprised by that too.
It's a very strange.
None. Super weird.
Yeah.
And it's weird because PlayStation is, plays so nice with Sony specifically with like exclusivity and different things. So very weird omission.
I think specifically Cloud, like Final Fantasy VII PS1 was like a big deal. I don't know, weird.
So Zach, what were some of your favorite bots? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and like Square Enix in general gave us some of Zach's all-time favorite remakes on the PlayStation.
Yep,
that's true.
So, they're probably remaking that bot. Is what they're doing.
That's what it is. Special treatment.
I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank because it's like the there's too many to pick from. I did think it was cool. I guess I don't know. I'll go with a really boring answer. It's not a bot specifically. I just really liked seeing how the bots that were in a series together, they were all bunched up together and they kind of interact in a fun way together. They're all I'm trying not to spoil them, but like all the big main series, they have like several and they're all in one spot and they're all kind of doing like they interact with each other in funny ways. And I liked getting all the little items for all of them and seeing some of them would interact with others. If you like hit one, they'll do something to the other one, stuff like that. It was cool seeing like the Demon Souls bots. Those two were neat for me. But yeah, no, I don't know if I had a specific favorite bot. Kind of a boring answer, but
no, there's a lot of fun ones. So I get that.
Yeah.
A lot of surprising ones, like I said. So it's a good time, of course. So I guess we could kind of transition then into what we've been playing. I guess I could start just because I've finished in Platinum Astrobot. I think my opinions changed a little bit in that I think that I could say that Astrobot does have an identity outside of being kind of like PlayStation, fan service with all the guest boss and different things like that. I don't think that makes it any less kind of generic, honestly. Like I don't, even though I had fun the whole time I was playing it, a lot of the levels don't stick out to me specifically in memory. Like the tree level did, like some of the like haunted ones did, and then like the other game specific ones did. But I don't know. I think it's great. I don't think it's really this masterpiece that a lot of people are claiming it to be. But I do think that it is, like, if you have a PlayStation 5, you owe it to yourself to play the game. You owe it to yourself to 100% it. I will say the challenge missions are all great. They can be very frustrating, but I did think they were the most fun part of the game. Like the face button missions and the final challenge. And surprisingly enough, final challenge, not too hard for me. It didn't take me that long to beat it. Not that I beat it first or second try, but I thought I was going to be stuck on there for a long time because... I'm probably the worst at games out of all of us because I'm just not very good at video games as much as I play them. And, it's like I'm looking forward to the DLC with the speedrun levels. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So
yeah, I'm ready to have my name above Zach's on every level.
Yeah,
maybe the first night if you start before me.
Yeah, so I think that I think Astrobot is still kind of finding its place. I think that it needs to have maybe a bit more of like a staple villain. Like the alien is a little bit too plain for me. I feel like it needs like a Bowser or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Someone that kind of sticks out and has like a memorable big bad like that would be good for it. And
it's a Series X.
Yeah, overall that'd be funny. No, but overall, it is a very good game. Not my game of the year, but definitely one of the most fun times I had playing a game this year. It's weird because I really do feel like I'm trying to think of like specific levels that stuck out, and I really can't think of that many.
I love just one thing I want to throw in there: how they did the credits.
Yeah, that was
great.
Fun. Mm-hmm.
Great. I love little things like that, and then a little twist at the end. But I'm not gonna say much of that. But
yeah, do you guys agree or disagree with me? I'm curious about like the.
Yeah, so I agree with you. It was a great game. I loved playing it. It was never not fun. But I do wonder how this game is going to get looked back on in a year from now. I wonder if just because it's so different than what Sony's been putting out the last few years, that initial like surprise and like excitement that they were making like a 3D platformer that was like a game first was what got everyone so excited, and that's why it has all this positive energy, because it is a very good one of those. But like I think it's interesting that it is the highest rated game of the year. Not that really matters, but once you get past the initial surprise and excitement for all the bots and nostalgia, which was very well done, I wonder if the game itself will hold up as this like pinnacle of 3D platforming a year from now, or if it'll be looked upon fondly, of course. I just don't know if I think it's going to be like, an all-timer for me looking back on it a year from now.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, any thoughts?
I mean, kind of agree with you. The honeymoon phase is a little bit over. I still really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's still in my top 10 of all time. I think that might have been just a little bit of hype, but I do really enjoy it. And I do kind of see like eventually it living on its own and holding up. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Like I'm sure they'll slowly like lead away from it. If, hopefully Sony listens and keeps making, more, hopefully. Yeah. But we shall see. And I mean, when you mentioned about how some of the levels didn't like stick out to you, I was like thinking like, oh, what about? And I was like, I don't really know. So I mean, I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
but
like I feel like it has all of the components to be a Mario. It's just not quite there yet. Like I feel like it's still kind of finding its own personality in a way, besides being like PlayStation cameos the game. And yeah, for what it is, it's still great. Yeah. I just wonder if the reception would... I don't think the reception would have been the same if it didn't have all those. But I've also heard people make the argument that it's like... It's almost like how Sony kind of found their own Smash Bros. In a way, but it's a platformer, like a celebration of its own stuff. And I know you kind of mentioned something like that last week as well, Zach. And I think that's a good way of putting it. And I don't know if there's really anything wrong with that. It's just... I wonder how that'll go long term, because
Astro
know,
karting next.
mhm.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I don't want to like hold it against the game that it is a big advertisement game, that it is the big nostalgia, all the series put together. That is one of the best parts about the game. That is a positive, but that's like, is that going to be Astrobot's identity?
Mhm.
I don't know. Is the next game, can they do that again? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we should
'Cause-
hold it against it, but I would like to see it be able to continue advancing beyond being just that.
Yeah, because I was even thinking, I'm like, Astrobot Rescue Mission on the PlayStation VR, right? As far as I know, there wasn't any cameos or special things like that in that game. I haven't played it. I've just seen a lot of footage of it and watched the reviews because I'm curious about it, but I'm not gonna pull out the PlayStation VR. I'd rather never play video games again, I think.
That's like
And
19,004. That's terrible. I had the
exactly.
VR too, and that's a lot better.
But a lot of people say that's the best game on PlayStation VR and everything else, which is like I could believe that, but part of me wonders. I'm like, that game also has a gimmick where it's a 3D platformer as a VR game, and that's not really a common thing either. So I'm just like, it's interesting how these games have very specific quirks to make them stand out, but not in a way that I know if I think is long-term viable for it to be a franchise,
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
it can just continue to be the mascot, like Sony hype train thing.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if they do that again, if I'm going to be as excited.
Yeah, like if we just got more of the same, in 3 years, say, or something, like, because a lot of the groundwork's already there. I mean, I'd still probably play the game and have a great time, but yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna find 170 more characters to put that are different, or are you gonna reuse a lot of them? I mean, it's just it's interesting to see. I'm
If they
very curious
did-
to see the future of it.
If they did go like kind of that path, I would like to see them just pick like a certain amount of like kind of how they had the end levels where it was like themed on a PlayStation.
Mhm.
Do that, but as like worlds type
Like
thing.
worlds
you know,
based off of different games.
yeah, like not just one level. Do like a whole world where you're helping. It's like a mini version of that game in the game. Like, you get what I'm getting at? Like,
Yeah, that could be interesting, but then at the same time, I feel like I'd be like, oh, I could just be playing that game.
True,
It's kind of the idea
That's how
that
you
I
unlock
get.
the new what the hell is Sweet Tooth from?
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. You got to do the
Wow.
Twisted Metal levels,
Wow.
and you unlock the new Twisted Metal game at the end.
There you go.
You have to.
Every
canceled
new
one.
first party Sony game, you have to play through an Astrobot version first, and then you can play
Yeah,
the
you
real
just-
game.
Exactly. You save them.
There we go. I'm down for that.
So that new Ghost game coming out, it's gonna be in there. Watch.
Exactly. And so yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say on Astrobot. We've talked pretty extensively about it for it not being a retro game, so I think we can probably close the book on that one. But we all like it, so go play Astrobot if you have a PS5. Do yourself a favor. The other
It
game
has lots of retro,
Oh, go
lots
ahead.
of retro inspirations. Shows lots of
True.
retro things, retro franchises. So.
Exactly.
kind of retro.
There is a PlayStation console in there, so that's good
Yep,
enough.
yep.
That's
There you
retro.
go. Yep.
And the other game that I've been playing and I just finished the other night was just another playthrough of Gravity Rush on the Vita. I actually don't have the Platinum Trophy in the Vita version, so I'm trying to get that now because I only have it on the remaster version for PS4, so
Big fan.
I plan
big
on
fan.
knocking that out soon. So we're gonna, hey. Whatever. The Vita version's much more of a pain in the ass because you have to use all the stupid, you have to turn your Vita for certain moves and flick the screen and stupid stuff that you didn't have to do on the remastered version. So they made it play like a normal video game when they remastered it. So as much as I love Gravity Rush, just better play it on the PS4. Tyler, what have you been playing?
Me, what have I been playing? All right, so new PlayStation catalog update thing came out. So they added Mr. Mosquito.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
was like, I am going to platinum Mr. Mosquito. So I spent a weekend playing this game. And let me tell you, it's pretty fun. You like pretty much go into this Japanese family's house. There's three of them. It's a daughter, a husband, and a wife. And then your goal is to pretty much over the summer, which is like I think it was 12 levels, 12 different torture them and bite them and suck their blood. And they eventually get to the extent where the walls turn into like mosquito traps and they're shooting you with they had like dual wielding spray and stuff, and you gotta get to them and get to that blood suck point and suck their blood. But so collectibles, there's like 253 of these you gotta get, and then there's so you gotta get like there's like these little pieces of food.
Sorry, you cut out for a second. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah, is that me or did you? Yeah.
Oh, where did I cut out at?
You're
What are the
talking about the
collectibles and
collectibles,
where
and
do you
then it
get
just
them?
went quiet.
Okay, so at the collectibles, there's like 250 or something of the little hearts. You got to get the standard hearts. You got to get all the food items, and I think there's one more thing, but I'm forgetting it. But however, so the little hearts on like stage 5, if you go into the microwave, there's a microwave. You go in there, you got 12 seconds to like get all the collectibles and get out, and you get like 100 heart bonus or something like that. And if you miss it, you can't go back to that stage and do it again. Like it resets your whole run. So I pretty much had to do the whole run again
That sucks.
and get it all again. And then I had to do it all again on year 2 because that's the last collectible. You get extra tanks for extra blood you could suck. Because if you get all of those, they help you survive the winter, so you can do it all over again next summer and torture them again with different dialogue lines, and they're wearing different outfits. That's pretty much it. So, played that. I mean, it was interesting, definitely different. Other than that, played Fall Guys. I figured I wanted to get the Platinum Trophy on that. Was only missing a couple trophies, so I actually did a live stream, and I was playing Fall Guys, and fun fact, there's one trophy on there that's apparently really glitched, and I found out if you message Epic support, they will unlock it for you if you provide proof that you did it, which I had to show them a video of me knocking somebody over with a rubber chicken. I did it. They emailed me back in like an hour. They said it unlocked. I went on my account, and bam, I had the Platinum Trophy. Since then, I have like 9 messages on my PlayStation of people asking me how I got the trophy. So that's been fun.
Tell me work for Epic and to send you money.
I work for Epic. Give me $10. I'll unlock it for you.
Yeah.
Other than that, played this little like game. It was like 29 cents on the PlayStation Store called Geometric Sniper. It's like a 2D black and white thing. Like, it's kind of like those mobile games where you got a target you got to look for in the whole area and, assassinate them. Played through that, got the platinum on that. And then one series I wanted to play for a long time, but I always put off, and I also seen it was in the premium catalog collection, was Ace Attorney Trilogy. So I downloaded the Ace Attorney Trilogy, and I played through the first game. I got to credits, I rolled that, but then there's also like one more case I could do, which was exclusive to the Nintendo DS version, since the game originally came out on the Game Boy Advance. So gotta play that. Enjoyed that game for what it was. The music, the cornered theme when you have them in a pinch and you're like slamming your hands down, top notch, A+. And then other than that, PlayStation State of Play happened and they shadow dropped Power World, so of course I'm playing that again. And in the course of like 2 days, I probably put like 15 hours into it, being up till 2:30 in the morning when I got to get up at 7 for work. But here we are, and it's great. I love catching all my little Pokemon-like pals and making them work at my base and constantly unlocking new things. So that's been fun. And I think, and one more thing I've been playing, and I have been destroying my rival. His name is Zach in Pokemon Blue. Just saying, Squirtle above all, even though I prefer Charmander, but there's a reason I'm playing as Squirtle. But that is all I've been playing.
I want to know a little bit more about Mr. Mosquito. So how long to play just to beat it, and how long was the platinum? Because I'm kind of curious about this game. I remember hearing about it many years ago when YouTubers used to be like, top 10 weirdest games. It was always like one of those, because it was like, you go and suck the blood out of this girl in the bath. It was like, it's like a very famous scene, but it's like I remember every YouTuber back in the day was like making videos like about just like weird scenes in games. That was always included, so that's why I know about Mr. Mosquito.
Dude, like each stage like has like a battle phase, and that one where she's like in the tub, if she spots you, she just like picks up the shower nozzle while she's like sitting in the bath. She's like, stay away! She's like trying to spray you with water. And then pretty much during that time, there's like relax points. You gotta find them and hit them, and then they're like, it says relax or whatever, and then they're just like, oh, and then you can just suck their blood again.
Oh my God.
But so that's how it is. A basic playthrough of the game probably wouldn't take too long. I mean, you could probably beat it in a sitting, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But the collectibles probably what took longest, mainly because there was no collectible guide. I literally had to
Oh.
watch somebody speed run the game,
It's
and
not
I
a well
followed.
documented game.
Yeah, I followed their 100% speed run
There you
in
go.
order to get it all. So, yeah,
Good to know.
I'd
Yeah, because
recommend it. You gotta try
I
it.
might try that out. You know what? Because they also added Sky Gunner, which is a really obscure Atlas PS2 game that I've always wanted to check out. So I really like that. All of a sudden, Sony's doing a lot of really cool deep cuts for their classics catalog. It makes me more excited for the future of the
Oh, we got
service.
Dino Crisis and what was the other one coming?
Something else, but
drawing a
I
blank.
but Dino Crisis I was very excited about because
Oh,
I have not
the
played
other
it
Soul
myself,
Reaver game.
but oh yeah.
So-
Yeah, but I watched my dad play Dino Crisis as a kid and it scared the shit out of me. So I want to play it now and be like, was I being a little bitch or is it actually kind of scary? We'll see.
Porque no los dos.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not both?
All right. So Zach, what have you been playing?
Real quick, I just want to say you're right.
Yeah.
The PlayStation service, like the premium service, is getting really good. I got tricked into buying it. They did the whole like subscribe upgrade for $6 for the remaining period of your thing. I'm like, oh, of course. And then I got hit with a $175 yearly membership because I wasn't paying attention. It's like, oh, okay, well, damn it. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
play
it's
some more
expensive.
PlayStation games over the
So
next year, I guess.
expensive.
But as far as what I've been playing, I'll be brief with the modern games. I played 3. I'm still playing Persona 3, still enjoying it, getting further into that. I think I'm in like either mid-July or early August. I'm getting into like the next story thing there. I played a new Souls-like that just came out last week. It's from an indie studio, Jyama Games, Jyamma Games. It's Inotria, the last song. It's an Italian folklore-based Souls-like. It plays a lot like a Dark Souls game, but with some of the deflect mechanics you might find in something like Sekiro. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. I played The Plucky Squire,
Oh.
the new Devolver published game from, I think it's All Possible Futures is the developer.
It's a great game.
Yeah, and the one of the developers, one of the directors, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I think it's James Turner. He does a lot of good art. He has a really particular art style. I follow him on Twitter. He like posts a lot of pictures of like Nintendo characters and like he does a lot of Sonic pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He has a really cutesy art style that he draws in, and that's what like a lot of the art in the game is in. And he did some art for I think it was Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh.
I think if I read correctly off the Wikipedia article, which may or may not be real, and I might have read it wrong, I think he was the first non-Japanese person to design a Pokemon,
Oh, that's cool.
which is cool. He used to work for Game Freak,
How
and
fun.
now he's doing Plucky Squire. Plucky Squire was a fun game. I think it did a lot of ideas. It didn't do anything particularly super great. It did a lot of things good. The great thing about it was the presentation and like the book mechanic and the fourth wall breaking stuff. That was very good, but the actual playing of the game was consistently good, never great, I would say.
Yeah,
but-
the biggest criticism I've heard a lot of people say is that it's like disgustingly easy.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. There's only there's 2 difficulties. So if you care about difficulty, you're not going to get it here. There's story difficulty, which is I think it's just you can't either die or take damage, whatever, or you play on the adventure difficulty. But even on that, it's very straightforward. I mean, there's a couple of like the gimmicky mini game sections that are a little tough. I had to try a couple times, but nothing crazy. But it's a fun little game. It kind of plays like a Zelda-like for most of the gameplay, but then mixes in other genres for mini games and stuff. Fun game. I played it on PS Plus Extra, so if you have that tier of PS Plus, it's on there.
Cool.
And then the retro game I've been playing, I've been really just trying my best to just destroy my rival Tyler in Pokemon Red. Been taking him down a bunch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm playing Pokemon Red, and it's interesting. I'm not using Charmander. Charmander's my starter, but I'm not using him as my starter. I put him in the box. I'm gonna try to do a run with like Pidgey as my starter.
Baller.
Yeah, because I want to use like a Pidgeot, how you want to call it, Pidgeot. And then I got to Brock, and I was like, huh, I can't do anything to this guy with any of my Pokemon. I had a Pidgey, I had a Nidoran, and I had a Kakuna, and nothing could do like any damage to him. So what I had to do was I had to use my Pidgey, Sand Attack 6 times in the Geodude, switch to the Nidoran, use Leer 6 times, and then switch back to the Pidgey, and then hit it with like 6 quick attacks till it died. And I had to do that again on Onyx. Otherwise, I just couldn't do any damage.
That's
so
brutal.
the Brock battle was like 45 minutes long. It was rough, but I was victorious. Yeah, I'm having fun with that. I try to replay one or two of the older Pokemon games a year, and I hadn't done that yet this year. I normally go back to playing Yellow, and then I thought this time, why not just play Red? So
Hell yeah, why not, right? I know I'm still halfway through a Blue playthrough, and I don't know why I didn't go Yellow. I just kind of felt like playing one of the ones I never played before. And I've never finished actual Gen 1. I've played a lot of Yellow and Red just throughout the years, and then Blue was for some reason the one I never touched because, when I was a kid I preferred Charmander. And then, Yellow is just the version that you get everything in, so decided to go Blue. So maybe I need to finish that. You guys are getting me inspired with all your Pokemon playing going on, so.
there you go.
Good stuff.
Yep, that's what I've been playing.
All right. Game pickups. Who would like to go first?
I'm the quickest, so you have nothing?
Well, I have a couple things. It's not
I'll go
like my
first,
usual.
I picked up this today, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Ooh, I didn't know that was today. Oh, I thought it was tomorrow. How exciting.
Yep. Yeah, the Nintendo games have been coming out on Thursdays for some reason lately. If you look at all their
Yeah, you're right. I've
announced
noticed
releases,
that. That's
they're all
true.
on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, excited to play this. I'll start it tomorrow. I haven't. I could taste the cartridge live. I haven't done
Let's
it
do
yet.
it.
Let's
see.
do it. I want a live taste impression. What does it taste
How are you
like?
feeling?
It tastes good. Tastes good like a Nintendo game. Tastes like a Zelda game.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm excited to play this one. The other pickup I have, unfortunately, is not here.
Oh.
I kind of want to. Maybe I'll just save it for the next episode because
Yeah, just save it. Why not?
it's a collector's edition, so I'm kind of excited. It's
Oh, I
on
know
the
what
way
it is.
here.
I know what it is.
Yeah. And then as far as like retro pickups, I did go to my retro game store with the full intention of buying something. I had money. I was like, I want to spend money today, and there was just nothing that like really jumped out at me. They had a lot of stock in the store, like more stock than I've seen in a long time. Like every like shelf was like really packed with stuff, but like I don't know, the prices were a little higher than I normally see them, and there was just nothing that like really spoke to me. So I decided just to wait till save the money for the convention next month and hopefully buy more then. But
A convention in which all three of us are going to be at in the same time.
I know.
yeah,
It's very
Just wanted to say
exciting.
it out there.
I'm going to be meeting
Excited.
Zach for the first time.
this is true.
Same.
I'm excited to meet the 8'9" legend, Zach.
Dude, me next to you is just going to be like a meme. Like, it's going to be great.
You'll get to see my lower half for the first time. I could be standing right now. You don't know. There's no.
You got a standing desk.
Yeah, I got a standing
Chair,
desk.
chair's just swiveling.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, what you got?
All right, so me, I induced FOMO, so I picked up the Raidlum, however you say it, the weird witch cursed game from Limited Rare Games, people that did Poop Slinger. Unfortunately, I didn't get one of the cursed copies. I just got the standard with the loose disc, if you heard that.
Beautiful.
That is actually the only video game I got. But there's this guy, Too Old for Gaming on Etsy. He sells like custom manuals and stuff like that that he does for games. So I picked a few up. He's from the UK, so I usually wait a little bit and then get a whole bunch of them. So I got a Colorblade manual.
Nice.
I got Final Fantasy
Ooh.
VII Rebirth. This one's a pretty thick
Big
one.
boy. That's
Whole
cool.
Great
bunch
game.
of stuff.
Great manual.
And then the one he did recently was Astrobot.
Yeah.
And got a whole bunch of stuff for that. And with this, he actually made some like custom trading cards, and he threw one in with every single one. I got the Spike one.
Ah,
but
perfect for you.
That's cool.
Sakura.
How cool.
So he did like 8 of them. He did a cat one, this, Drake, Kratos. Can't remember the rest off the top of my head. Jack and Daxter. Think Sly Cooper. I don't know.
Yeah. I know it's
Uh,
really silly, but the reason I did not buy that manual is because I was like, if I don't get the cat card, I'll be upset. So I'd rather just not buy it and get the card I don't want.
I didn't message him and say, "Hey, I love Ape Escape. If you want to throw that one in my order," and he was like, "I'll see what I can do." Link. So
Good to
I've been
know.
buying for him for like a long time, ever since
Yeah, I have.
he did Vita manuals.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a
So-
couple dozen Vita manuals from the guy. They're awesome. They're such high
Yeah.
quality. So definitely support that man if you can. He does a lot of really cool stuff. Does a lot of really good YouTube videos. He makes Retro PlayStation Magazine, which is a super cool magazine that I have not checked out yet, but I've been meaning to. So he's just like the cool like PlayStation handheld guy. He makes awesome stuff. So definitely check him out if you guys don't know about him.
For sure. He just put out a tweet today that he's at a Tokyo Game Show, and they have a life-size Astrobot gotcha machine, and if you
Yeah,
play
I
the
saw
demo
that.
on Saturday and Sunday, you get to play it, and it has a T-shirt in it, like random T-shirts for Astrobot.
That's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
I was like, wow, I wish I could have that.
Yeah, it's
One
really
final
fun.
thing, it's a statue.
Woo! It's a big boy too.
Yeah,
I've
this
seen
thing's
this.
heavy. So, for my birthday back in February, my girlfriend pre-ordered me this Gengar statue. It lights up and everything.
It's so cool.
Pretty neat. It's like a rechargeable battery, so I don't have to have it plugged in or anything, which is pretty neat.
Nice.
Gotta find a spot for it. But once I do, it's definitely gonna look pretty. So as of
Do
right
you
now,
like
it's just been.
Gengar? Are you a Gengar guy or?
I like Ghastly.
Okay.
Ghastly's pretty cool. This one right here.
Is that from
Big
First Four
Hunter fan.
Figures?
It is. It actually came with a certificate because they're all numbered.
Yeah.
It's like out of 1,000, I got like 848 or something like that.
Yeah, First Four Figures make some of the best stuff. It's just a lot of their stuff is very expensive, but
Dude,
it's
I-
worth it because of how high quality it is. Honestly,
I totally forgot that she like ordered me that, and it was supposed to come around this time. So my sister was like, "Tyler, what did you order?" I was like, "What do you mean? There's a giant box." I was like, "Huh?" So I go downstairs, and I'm like, I don't know." And I open it, I was like, "Oh, it's here."
that's very
That's awesome.
exciting.
So, but that's all I got. Nothing too crazy.
All right, I got a few things, nothing crazy either here, but I had a Amazon gift card that I just forgot about, so I was like, I'll buy some games with it. Why not? I got a copy of Nier on the PS3, so
Okay.
I want to play this version eventually because Nier Replicant, which was like the remake, remaster, whatever it is like
Well, that's a remaster of the first game.
Yes, so that is like in Japan, I believe it was the PS3 version and the Xbox 360 version were like different campaigns. And in North America, we only got the campaign with the dude. And then when they released Replicant, it's also just one campaign with the girl, which is weird. So I want to try to get the whole Nier experience eventually. So I
really
need
weird.
to get this. And it's kind of strange that this game, still in print from Square Enix, factory sealed with the manual. They're still making copies for some reason, so kind of cool that you're able to get this game affordably, because I think for a while it was a bit on the pricier side, so I don't know if they started reprinting it or what, but happy to have that. And then, I don't actually know if I ever plan on playing this, but as a Persona fan, I just want to have this Persona 5 Tactica. It seems more like a XCOM or Valkyria Chronicle style strategy game opposed to like a Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics kind of strategy game. So I don't know how I'll feel about playing it. I'm just kind of tired of the Fan of Thieves as well. I've just had so much Persona 5 in my
Oh, whoa, whoa,
last
whoa!
couple
We
of
didn't get
years.
a
I'm just
fighting
kind of
game yet.
over it.
We didn't get the fighting
True.
game.
You
yet.
know what? That would be different if we got a fighting game, because the Persona 4 Arena games were fucking awesome. So I would be totally okay with that. And then the last thing I got is also a statue/figurine. My wife got me this for my birthday. This is a very
Yo.
nice Aerith Final Fantasy VII Remake statue that she got imported to me from Japan. So thank you to my lovely wife for getting me that. Aerith is probably like top 3 video game characters of all time for me. So very happy to actually have something of her to represent for me in my game room.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, if I had to pick like three favorite like female protagonists in video games, would probably be what? You okay? Uh oh.
Come in, Tyler.
Are we having issues?
Okay, we're good. I don't know. I just lost all audio there, but we're good now.
Are you
Sorry
safe?
about that.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, favorite three female protagonists in video games would probably be Aerith, Kat from Gravity Rush, and Jill from Valhalla, who is someone that I'll be talking about later with our topic of the show. So, good stuff. Tyler,
One of my favorite
Very
themes
nice,
from
very
Final
nice.
Fantasy VII is the Aerith theme. I love
Oh
the
my
Aerith
God.
theme. Yeah.
it makes me tear up a little bit every time. I can't help it. It's just so
Yeah.
it's so good. But it's time for us to be taught by Tyler's history
Yes,
lesson
sir.
for this lovely couple of weeks. Tyler, what you got for us? What are we learning?
All right.
About?
Okay, we got a couple good things, some game releases, some actual pretty big historical events. We'll get to that near the end. So September 16th, 2002 is when Nintendo released the e-reader card scanner for the GBA in the US. Anyone of you ever used that? Because I have not.
Technically, no, not the e-reader, but I did play on the NSO for Mario 3 on Game Boy Advance. They put the e-reader levels in there.
Mm.
Yes.
So if you haven't played those levels, which you probably haven't, you have new Mario 3 levels to play, like 30 or 40 of them. And they have new mechanics, and they're very good.
That's cool. Yeah, I need to check those out. I bet that's really
Yep.
fun. I love Mario 3.
Same day, 2002, Nintendo releases Animal Crossing for the GameCube. Nice little cozy game that we talked about in our Cozy Games episode.
I'll always love Animal Crossing.
Then also on September 16th, 2008, Square Enix released Dragon Quest IV for the Nintendo DS. Shout out to Dragon Quest series one I gotta play because I have like most of them and I want to play them. But that's gonna be a big time commitment. Moving on. Nothing on September 17th. September 18th, though, 2006 is when Nintendo released Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red for the GBA and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team for the DS.
So,
Some great games. What?
do you guys know about the Switch version? Is that the version to play or no? Or am I better off playing one of the OGs?
I mean, the Switch version, you get all the enhanced graphics and all that type of stuff, and it's kind of like both of them mixed together, so there's no real kind of like version exclusive, which is kind of nice.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I would kind of say go with the remake if you do, but however, if you go with the original, Red Rescue Team is on the NSO.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
which
Just
I
curious
don't
because
know.
I've
Red
always
Blue
I've
is
always
the
wanted
same.
to try those and I haven't yet. And I actually do have the remake for Switch and I have Nintendo Switch Online, so I just didn't know which version I should play.
Dude, when that remake came out, me and my buddy Matt, we just went so hard on. We're like kind of in a party chat on PlayStation, playing it at the same time, and it was just a great time.
That's
It's
fun.
great.
Yeah, I love that game. I have red and blue. I have both the originals, and I loved it. But for
Yeah.
some reason, the remake came out. It just didn't. I didn't jump on it for some reason. I don't know why. I do want to go replay Red through NSO though. I'm excited about that.
I do want to play the Explorers of Sky one because I always hear that's like the best one, and I own
Yeah,
it.
and it's
but
so
I just
funny because
never-
that game like famously didn't review very well either. But it seems like Pokemon fans are always saying that's like one of the best Pokemon spin-off games. So has one of the best cover arts of any Pokemon game. I'll definitely say that.
Is it the one with Dialga, Tyler?
Yeah, the Primal Dialga or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
played that one too. I think I played that. I didn't play the last one. I played the red and blue. Then I played the whatever the second one is with Dialga. Then I played the last one.
Time and Darkness, and then there was
Super.
it was Time and Darkness, and then there was like Sky, which was like the third ultimate one, and then and then it was Super, and then no, it was Gates to Infinity, and then it was Super. So it was like 4, but yep, there was rumors we were gonna get a new one, but we never did. But moving on. September 19th, 2000, Activision released Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for the PlayStation in the US.
Hell yeah.
Pro Skater 3 is better in my opinion, but just saying. Pro Skater 2 is good as well. Great games. That's why I got remastered or remade, whatever. 2005, Nintendo releases the Game Boy Micro. This little guy.
There he is.
Woo-hoo.
I love
Nice.
that faceplate.
Yeah.
I have a micro that I refuse to play because it's the Mother 3 version, and
Let me know what
I'm
games
so
you
afraid
got.
of scratching it or messing it up, so I just never play it. But it
My
looks
game
cool.
game
those-
store, my game store had a sealed Game Boy Micro. The one I went to this last weekend had a sealed Game Boy Micro, which I thought was interesting, but
How much
like-
were they charging for it?
I don't remember. It was several hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I didn't even look at it. But
I
Take a
believe it.
guess. What game is that? Let's see who gets
Uh,
it.
I think that's Tekken.
Oh,
Fire
you
Emblem-
got it.
damn, I was gonna say Fire
I
Emblem
got it.
6. It looked Japanese.
All right. After that, 2006, Capcom released Okami for the PS2.
Hmm.
Beautiful art style. 2006, Atlas released a game. Craig, do you know what game it is? Big Atlas fan here. Putting you
Was
on
it
the
Persona
spot.
3?
No, it was Contact for the DS.
Oh, close
You're
enough.
close though.
Close enough. I've heard that Contact is a very good game. I've actually always wanted to try it. I've heard it's very Earthboundy in its
Oh,
in
really?
its kind of like and it's in its kind of presentation. So I want to check it out.
And then also in 2006, Square Enix released Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime. There's a lot of Dragon Quest stuff in this one, just saying.
I've heard that's a really fun game too.
And then moving on to September 20th, 2002. Big news dropped. It might have been for the worse. Microsoft bought the developer Rare for $375 million. So, that's when that all happened.
Man, that's for that time period. That is extremely high.
Yeah.
Like you think about, I'm pretty sure Sony only bought Insomniac for like 200 million, however many years ago now. So that's kind of crazy.
The Sony Insomniac number never made sense to me. Whenever
No,
that number get released, I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, like extraordinarily low for the quality of the studio and the talent there, right? Super.
And the
weird.
output they've gotten out of them on the PlayStation 5 is insane.
Exactly.
Like
and even
3
before they
Spider-Man
owned them,
games
they
and
were pretty
Ratchet
much
and
only
Clank.
putting out games on their console anyway. So very
Yeah.
strange.
Yep.
Then after that, 2004, Sony announces the PS2 Slim features a top-loading disc tray built network. Some crazy times. What a time to be alive. And then also 2004, Nintendo released F-Zero GP Legend and Donkey Kong King of Swing for the GBA. If you didn't play Donkey Kong King of Swing, those are some pretty fun games. Just saying.
Really, I always thought it looked terrible.
I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, the art style is a little different, but I mean, the gameplay was fun to me.
Maybe I'll have to
just
check it out.
Doot, a little like puzzly kind of.
How funny.
thing.
Yeah. And I still need to get more into F-Zero, so I want to see why it's so beloved.
Just play GX.
I
You'll love it.
can't. It's too hard.
X is on NSO, and you can use save states.
There
Good
you
to
go.
know.
Yeah.
Every time you do a lap and you're still in first, save state.
It also looks weird to see an N64 game so smooth and crisp.
That's
It's
fair.
like it's locked 60 frames, and it's kind of mesmerizing.
You're like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be lagging?
Why is this more than 13 frames a second?
Yeah, yeah.
September 21st, 2000, Enix released Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 Remix for the Game Boy Color.
Hell yeah.
In 2004, Namco releases Katamari Damacy for the PS2.
Let's
Man,
go.
I gotta play those. I've always heard that they're super fun.
I love Katamari Damacy. It's so freaking weird, but they're so fun. It's so satisfying. We just ball get big is all you need to say.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like gameplay over the years, and I've heard a lot of the music, like a da 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 da. But I've never actually played it. I really want to. That'd be a really good one for them to put onto the PlayStation catalog.
Do you have Game Pass or an Xbox in any way?
Yeah, I do. I have a Series S.
I feel like they added the most recent remaster to Game Pass like today. Like at
Yeah,
the
they just
Tokyo
did it.
Game Show. The Tokyo
Okay.
Game Show announcement was most recent
Yeah.
remaster.
That's right. I totally forgot that they got the first two games have remasters anyway. So guess I could
Yep.
just check one of those out.
Katamari Damacy is great. I have both of them on the Switch. Both the remasters on the Switch, and I loved every second of each of them.
Sick. Yeah, I'll have to check those out.
Same exact day, 2004, Capcom releases Mega Man X Command Mission for the PS2 and Game.
Yeah, that's a game I definitely want to try more. I started it a long time ago, but I literally didn't get more than 20 minutes in because there's just so much dialogue, and I was like, I just want to play a game, and it wasn't interesting dialogue, so I was just turned off really fast.
September 23rd, 2002, Nintendo releases Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube in the US. September 24th, 2000, Nintendo releases Pokemon Puzzle League for the N64. Hector, if you're watching this, I still beat you that day, and you still owe me $40. Just saying.
$40.
Yeah, dude, we played one game, $20.
They're high rolling when they play Pokemon
I mean,
Puzzle
I
League.
would-
God damn.
I mean, I would say I whooped them, but I'll say I beat them. And then we're like, yo, double or nothing. We doubled it up, beat them again. Just saying. Just saying.
That's
We
funny.
go pretty hard on the
High stakes
Pokemon
room.
Puzzle League. Dude, it's a lot of fun. Like, Puzzle League is great.
Hey Tyler, in about a month you can Venmo me $10 for every Astrobot leaderboard I'm above you on, if you want.
Hey, you're wrong. What they say? There's gonna be 5 levels. At least $50 I'll lose or gain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that Hector. You got my Cash App. September 20. Where was I? 25th. 2001 is when Enix released Dragon Warriors Monsters 2 for the Game Boy Color. I think that's the last Dragon Quest thing, but yeah, a lot of Dragon Quest. 2003, on September 25th, Nintendo cuts the price of the GameCube to $99. Could you imagine a game system costing $99 nowadays?
Gosh, I know.
I'd buy
I would've
4
just-
GameCubes if they were $99
Exactly, I was just
right
gonna say,
now.
I would just buy a ton
We
of
have a
GameCubes.
$700 PS5 Pro and a 2 terabyte Xbox for $600. Like, crazy.
True. Right now, I have 10 GameCubes, I think, or 11. So I would have spent about $1,000 on GameCubes back then if I bought them then. I don't know how much I spent now. Probably way fucking more.
We need a time machine. We need to invent it.
I got a couple of new GameCubes too, which was really cool. One time, I knew it was new and I kind of paid up for it. It was a sealed Paper Mario 1000 Year Door bundle, which was really cool. And then another time, I bought it and the guy didn't have a price tag on it. It was like a card store that sold some video games, and I asked him to look at it, and I was like, "How much is it?" He was like, "I don't know, $100." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I go to open it up, and like everything is just like in like all the factory
Okay.
baggies and
Oh,
stuff like that.
wow.
And I was like, "Oh shit!" So this is like new. And then you know what I did? I took out that controller and played with it, and it was the freshest GameCube controller I ever played with.
Heck yeah.
Totally worth it. If I would have spent like top dollar on it, I probably would have kept it all perfectly sealed. But because I got a deal on it, I was like, it's kind of cool to have like brand new GameCube components. And I think
Yeah.
it was probably in like 2017. So that was pretty neat.
Nice.
Cool. Also, there we go. 2007, September 25th, Microsoft releases Halo 3 for the Xbox 360.
Ooh,
Kind of iconic. Halo
only
3.
kinda.
It is iconic.
It left a slight impact.
It was a game.
It was a game, you know. Halo. Yeah.
Halo Schmalo.
Master Chief. September 26th, 2001, Sony releases Eco for the PS2. Kind of want to play those games, Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, those kind of games. I never did.
I remember I was gifted a PlayStation 3 for my birthday in like 2015 or 2016. I didn't own one until then. And it's funny, my parents just heard me talking about how I wanted to get a PS3 like for my game collection, and then they bought me a brand new PS3 and a couple of games with it. And one of the things they got me was the Shadow of the Colossus and Eco HD collection. And I remember I tried to play Eco and I was like, I'll fucking get it, dude. And then I just turned it off. It was very frustrating. It's a very dated game. It definitely seems cool and like culturally significant. So I'd want to give it a try, but I remember at the time it was like the most infuriating thing I ever tried to play. I was like, I can't believe that like this is a beloved game.
Wow. I wonder how many people clicked off. No.
They might have, but you know what? That was me, 9 or 8 years ago. So I've matured a lot, and I've played a lot more games
changed.
since then. So exactly.
He's
And
a
you know what?
changed man.
If it sucks butt, I'll tell you guys next time when I play it again too, because I'm not afraid of any of you. I'm a little afraid, but it's fine.
September 27th, 2000, Sony cuts its initial shipments of the PS2 in the US from 1 million down to 500,000 due to a chip shortage.
Buy now, buy now.
Also in 2000, Atlas releases Ogre Battle 64 in the US. Then September 29th, 1983. This was a huge, monumental, historical day in video game history. And it's because it involves a very, very historic character, very beloved by many,
I saw this
especially my co-hosts here, Craig and Zach. I didn't see it come until I was working on history, and when I seen it there, I was like, this is going to be the best episode. Anyway, I'm rambling on too much about our Lord and Savior, E.T. 1983, Atari dumps 14 to 20 truckloads of game cartridges and other computer equipment in a landfill in New Mexico, which 5 to 6 million cartridges of ET are included. Man,
an awesome story.
The game was so good, we had to donate so much to the Earth. Our planet had to enjoy E.T.
Mm-hmm. We had to put it back into the life stream, like in Final Fantasy VII. This is what
Exactly.
kept our planet going.
Of course.
It's still
our
going
way
on
of fighting.
ET.
Our way of being eco-terrorist is adding ET to the soil.
Yeah, I think Nintendo did the same thing with Mario 3D All Stars. After the game went off the shelves, they just poured them all in a landfill. So we have to go find it.
What do you think they did with all the copies of Concord?
Well, so my buddy at GameStop, he actually got one in after that whole date that, we're supposed to take him. And I was like, hey, if you want to get rid of it, I'll pay you, yada, yada. And he was like, well, they said they don't know what they want us to do with it. And then they eventually told him to destroy it. So he had to destroy it. Not return it, destroy. I was like, so you destroyed it? And he was like, yeah. I was like,
honestly.
I would have took it. I
don't know. I'm almost surprised that they didn't just penny clearance it out or something, because at least then it wouldn't have been $0, right? It's just very strange.
I don't get it.
Oh well. I tried going around. I waited too long and I didn't get one. But
yeah, Zach's the only one that's going to be able to retire by 30 because of his investment. So
him and Rob, now I rock his Heller suit with this controller. Yeah. He's going to be in Honolulu. We're going to be over here in the New Mexico landfill. But September 29th was also a great day for gaming, because in 1996 is when Nintendo releases the Nintendo 64 in the US with the world's largest launch lineup of 2 games, Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings 64. What a time to be alive.
Hey, those are both bangers, so
I want to know how many people went and didn't buy Mario and bought just Pilot Wings.
I know.
I wish there was a number. Just going to GameStop, I want that and Pilot Wings. Man.
Not a big Mario fan. Let me get the N64.
I like to imagine they're handing him all the N64 and they're just grabbing the Mario 2. It's like, oh, no.
Okay, that's not what I want.
Not interested. Thank you.
Thank you. Give me the Pilot Wings.
You know what? Actually, give me 2.
Yeah. And then lastly, on September 30th, we got 2 of historical moments. 1997, well, not really moments. They're kind of just game releases, but still historical. 1997, Capcom releases Resident Evil Director's Cut for the PlayStation. And lastly, September 30th, 1998, Nintendo releases Pokemon Red and Blue for the Game Boy in the US. And that concludes...
There it is.
Bam, look at that. I don't have mine on hand. But that concludes our history lesson. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Obviously, the highlight was the ET landfill. We put that in the live stream. That's why we're still going today. And that is how we could bring you this podcast, hosted by my buddies and I. So, yeah.
Thank you, you disgusting fuck, ET.
Yeah.
And by episode 16, that live stream will be even bigger, because Craig promised that we will be on stream.
We're gonna have to play
That's
that game at some point for the episode. We're gonna have to
easy.
do it.
It'll
Until
be a
we get rid of the
5-minute
curse.
episode.
We have to play it to get rid of the curse.
Exactly. It's going to be our shortest episode. We'll have an hour of bullshit up to about right now, which is what we usually do. Then we'll talk about ET for 5 minutes, and then we'll be like, all right, guys, see you in 2 weeks.
We gotta go like fully into it. We gotta be like the amount of pixels on
Yes.
ET's
We have to
is
make that like an
immaculate.
8-hour episode.
It'd be a good April Fool's video. Just start talking about AET for like 5 minutes, and then just have like 6 hours of black screen. And it's when people when you upload, people are like, "Whoa, a 6-hour episode!" It's just 5 minutes, and then just like,
Dude, we gotta
Nothing.
do that.
That would
We
be
gotta
really
do-
funny.
Yeah.
The most in-depth ET conversation on YouTube.
yeah.
God, that would be
That's what we gotta name it too in all caps. The world's longest ET podcast. Oh,
You know
that'd
what,
be great.
Zach? You are the speedrunner of the group. Maybe you could start to learn how to speedrun ET
Definitely,
on the Atari
definitely a
2600.
title. I only speedrun things that are either gimmicks or things I know I can beat Tyler at. So basically, Grimace, Shrek, and
Oh.
Astrobot. So
Oh. All right.
That was cold.
It's on whenever this dude fall 2024. I mean, we're here, right, but
yeah, we're here now.
that's
We're
when they
looking
said,
live.
and bam, you're on.
All right, boys. It's about time we get to the topic of the show. All right, let's talk about some retro-inspired indie games that we love. We just wanted to have a free-form kind of conversation to highlight some indie games we like based off of the old shit that we love and talk about all the time on this show. I don't know who would maybe like to go first. Tyler, would you like to maybe go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first, mainly because I don't have too much history with indies. These fellas have a lot more than I do. But I played a few, and there's probably some that I can't think of off the top of my head, so I mean, if they say one, I'm obviously gonna jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
But one that, I mean, we mentioned when we talk about the topic is Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, when that first came out, I remember, that got pretty big. It had a whole Kickstarter thing. I mean, it took a little bit for it to get funded. I think it got funded after a month or so. And then by the time that got funded, it came out and everything. If you don't know, it was actually made by former Way Forward employees who kind of just,
I didn't know that.
you know that? Yeah, I told Craig something. All right. But anyways, sorry, got a little excited. So it was made by former Way Forward employees. It was kind of like an 8-bit throwback to the NES kind of days. And one thing that's great about it, and Craig will agree, it's even on the Vita, so that makes
That's
it even
true.
more better.
Mm-hmm.
All the music is good. Some of the music kind of reminds me of like Mega Man kind of levels, type per se.
Yeah, it has a very Mega Man X feel to the soundtrack for sure.
And then just doing the one move where you like bounce on people with the
DuckTales
shovel. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
that's what I
funny
was
because
gonna
everyone
reference,
says
like
DuckTales. I don't know what came first. I think it was DuckTales, but I always think of Zelda 2 first when it comes to like the
Zelda-
hopping on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously I think Cranky Kong is well known for the bounce also. So in the Donkey Kong Country game. So
And some things I thought that was really cool that they added in the game was like if you played on the PlayStation, you're able to encounter Kratos, and then if you beat him, you got like a Kratos armor that gave you like the Blades of Chaos. And then on the Xbox version, you were able to encounter the Battletoads. And then they kind of like went more in depth with the Battletoads because there's like 3 different kind of like
It was
mini levels for it. The first level, you're like battling Zits while you're rappelling down a shaft. The second one, you're doing like the whole turbo tunnel level. And then the third one is kind of like a whole boss battle with Rash. And then if you do that, you get the Battletoads armor, and
That's cool.
you get to do stuff with that too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
Shovel Knight
Yeah.
is so good.
you guys have any experience with it?
Yeah, have you played it, Zach?
yeah, I've played it. I have the Treasure Trove on the Switch. So
Very nice, very
Um,
nice.
yeah, Tyler, Shovel Knight was the second game I got on my Switch. So I had played Breath of the Wild for however long I played Breath of the Wild for. The second game I downloaded was Shovel Knight. I had not played it before. I had a friend who had it on the 3DS, which I thought was funny that had a 3DS version because I guess it had a Vita version also, and I think it was on the Wii U, also I believe.
Yeah, I think
right.
it came out on Wii U and 3DS first, and it was exclusive to those before it came to other consoles.
Yeah, yeah. Shovel Knight's great. Oh, I guess it's kind of like a. Would you? Is the closest example like Mega Man? Is it a Mega Man like? What you
Yeah,
call it? Like a
kind of just like an NES Super Nintendo style platformer. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
action
obviously, so
platformer, yeah.
the Treasure Trove when it came out, it had the Shovel Knight story, the Plague Knight story. I believe Spectre Knight was already out. So I played all three of those. I liked each of the campaigns. I liked Shovel Knight probably the most just because it was the most in depth and the longest one. Then I liked Spectre Knight because it had some cool story stuff. And then Plague Knight was basically just like the Shovel Knight levels again, but with Spectre Knight, who in my opinion, sorry, with Plague Knight, who in my opinion was less fun to control. But it had some cute little story moments in there with him. Um, have y'all played any of the other stories other than the base game?
I
No,
haven't.
so I have the Treasure Trove as well on Vita, you know, just because you got a lot of that for not a lot more money, so it was worth
Yep.
it. And I only played through the Shovel Knight campaign, but I would like to go back eventually and play them all. I actually think I own it on Switch as well because if I remember right, that the Spectre Knight like part of it came out, I think, at the Switch launch lineup, or if not the launch lineup, like within the first week.
Yeah,
And at
yeah.
the time, I was just looking for more stuff to play on my Switch, so I got it on there as well. I definitely want to go back and play them, but the main campaign of Shovel Knight absolutely adored. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, and I said Spectre Knight, so Shovel Knight was my favorite because it's when it launched with those three. Then later on, like a while later, they added the final campaign, which is the King Knight, King of Cards, and that one is my favorite. King Knight is so fun to control. He has the Wario like dash thing where he like shoulder bashes people, but he bounces in the air and then he spins, and you can bounce off enemies with the spin.
That's fun.
And it also has a built-in card game because it's the King of Cards. So it has the goofy like thing in a lot of video games where it's a serious moment and you challenge someone to like a card fight to like take them on. You like a little has a pretty in-depth card battle system where you collect cards and make your own decks and stuff. King of Cards is fantastic. And then they added a platform fighter. I forget what it's called, but they added a
Yeah,
platform
that's
fighter
true.
in there. Biggest complaint with that is it's not online. You can't play online with it, so I thought that was lame. But there's like it's like arcade, like an arcade mode where you can go through like Smash Brothers or Mortal Kombat style arcade, you
That's
know.
cool.
But no online multiplayer, which is lame.
Yeah, Shovel Knight's just so good, and I feel like that Shovel Knight really was a boom for indie games in general, which was really cool to see. I feel like it really started kind of a revolution, and it just plays so well. Like you said, that was a good way of putting it. It's almost like a mix of like it has an overworld like Mario, but then the levels are almost kind of like structured like a Mega Man X style, and I love the concept of you get your gems along the way, and I love that the checkpoints you could destroy those for a lot of
More
gems,
gems.
but then you
Yeah.
lose that checkpoint. I always thought that was a really cool mechanic because
Yeah.
every time I tried that, I would fuck myself, and I was like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have done that." Because again, me being bad at games, I actually thought Shovel Knight was a little tough. Especially
Oh, it's a tough game.
that final boss is very hard. I remember that took me quite a while, but very, 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 very worth playing if you haven't played it before. The music's fantastic. The pixel art is beautiful. A lot of the dialogue is very cute and very funny. A lot of the people
Yeah,
just have really
good.
quirky, silly little things to say. Um, I don't know how it is to try it 100% because I've never tried that before. I know there's lots of collectibles like the different fish that the fish you get that you can bring to like the king trout or whatever it is. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
ever did anything with that.
I did all the so it has like a built-in achievement system, like I think they're called feats. I did all the
Yeah, yeah.
feats that were collectible and like gimmick based. I didn't do any of the speed run ones. The speed run ones, like, is like I'm not good enough at the game to like beat that game in whatever like 45 minutes, whatever the hell it wants you to beat it in. I was like, I'm not gonna grind this out. I'm just not gonna get it. So I never got all of them, but yeah, the collectibles I did go through and get all those, and that was a good time.
And the
Nice.
controls are so tight. They feel so
Yep.
good. Some of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of that game are when you have to use your shovel to bounce on multiple enemies over like a pit that'll one hit kill you.
Yeah.
Very, very hard and very, precise, but it was so rewarding being able to get parts through parts like that in the game. Very
Fun
creative, very
bosses.
unique boss fights. Yes, the bosses are so fun. I believe his Tinker Knight is the little guy where you just beat him up, where he's throwing screws around, and then he has like this giant mech that he comes out in. That I
Yeah.
thought was one of the most fun and funniest boss fights in a game.
Yep.
It's so good. Shovel Knight's so good. I'm like ready to play it again right now, just talking about it. It's so fun.
Yeah. It's funny that they are like putting out like the Shovel Knight DX Plus, whatever the heck it's
Yeah.
called, it's like the definitive version of Shovel Knight, but it's like only the Shovel Knight story. And they had like a bunch of quality of life and like accessibility, some cool stuff there, but it's like I don't know if I want to buy that game again to like
Yeah,
play that version of it. I don't know.
yeah.
I didn't even
I don't
know they were
maybe-
doing that.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
me kind of sad because I almost feel like I wonder if Yacht Club Games kind of just extended themselves too far by making free DLC for a decade, basically, which is kind of scary because I hope that they do okay. They're doing okay as a studio because I love them, and I'm really looking forward to Mina the Hollower. I think that
I
game
think-
looks awesome. So
They've got to be doing okay because one, I don't know for sure, but I imagine they're taking their time with Mina, which to me, if they're taking this time, it means I feel like maybe they're not in a rush. You know, they feel like they can make the best product possible and take their time making a good game. They've had other Shovel Knight spin-offs that have maybe not been as successful as the base game, of course. Like Shovel Knight Dig was a fun little game, and Shovel Knight Puzzle Quest. I forget that one's called.
something like that, yeah.
That game was fun too. Not as good as the base game, and they still publish games too. Like a Cyber Shadow is a Ninja Gaiden like they published.
Yeah.
So I hope they're doing okay. I hope Mina is a good success for them as well. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah, it looks 100% your style, of course, since it's going to be like a Link's Awakening like. So I know you're
Yep.
going to be all over that.
Yep, it's on my Fantasy Critic too. If they can freaking somehow get it out this year, because Christian bet on it to not come out, so I want to stick it to him.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, he put that counter beat.
Yeah, he did.
Zach,
Nice.
what's the first game you want to highlight? Unless you have any more thoughts on Shovel Knight, Tyler.
No, I feel like we pretty much said everything, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was looking at games to include here, and I guess when I was looking through the indie games, I have like a folder in my Switch of all my indie games, and I wanted to be careful about what games I picked here because I think it's easy to look at an indie game with pixel graphics and say that it's retro inspired, but I feel like just because it has pixel graphics doesn't necessarily mean it's a retro inspired game.
Yeah, that's fair.
An example of that I was thinking about something like Celeste. So Celeste has like a pixel graphic style, and it's an indie game, but I don't think it's necessarily an indie inspired indie game or a retro inspired indie game. I feel like it's like a modern game that's using a pixel
Aesthetic,
graphic
yeah.
system. You know, but then something like Shovel Knight is clearly trying to evoke, nostalgic, NES feelings.
Yeah, DuckTales, Mega Man, like we said, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess one game I want to talk about is something I played that came out recently on the Switch, 2D top-down Zelda-like called Master Key, and that game is really trying to emulate those old top-down Zeldas, letting you explore and like figure things out on your own and find the dungeons, and has that unlocking items in the dungeons to progress in the world. And Zelda likes are a dime a dozen, especially on Switch. But I thought this one was really well done. It really relied on you to explore and figure things out. There's no dialogue in the game, which I thought was an interesting decision. It really relied on you to like figure things out, like based off of the world and like environmental storytelling. And for me, it kind of hit home in a way like when I played Oracle of Ages, was my first video game on the Game Boy Color. Sorry, I couldn't read, so like I had to like. That's how I had to play that game. Was like I had to like figure things out by like just looking, and like the words meant nothing to me. So this game, playing it and like not having words to point me places, kind of reminded me of that. Like having to figure things out and look at what the game was telling me from a visual standpoint. And the game's super fun. It's a pixel graphic style, but it has like some modern stuff, like you can like dodge roll and stuff like that, which isn't obviously not something you'd find in a 2D Zelda from back then, but adds some modern gameplay, but has like those nostalgic, baseline that it's building off of. That was a really fun game. Master Key on the Switch. But,
Yeah,
you did like a short of that one, right? I remember you did like a short on your channel about that one or something like that.
I did a review on it.
Yeah,
when it came out. Yeah, it's a good game. You play as a little fox, or I guess you're technically a. I don't know if you're. I think you're a fox. I don't think you're like a tanuki or something. I think you're a fox. But yeah.
All right, so the first game I would like to shout out is also a game that came out this year, and that is Arzette Jewel of Faramore. This is actually probably my third favorite game that I've played this year. I actually think it's phenomenal.
I've heard good things.
Yes, so if you're not familiar with this game, it is inspired by the Zelda CDI games, which are famous for having really weird, awkward, hand-drawn, like, rotoscope kind of cutscenes, along with really kind of crappy gameplay. Yeah, really bad voice acting, unintentionally funny. Exactly. The actual gameplay art style is very weird and very unique. It's like a weird, like, kind of like almost like blurred pixel aesthetic. It's very hard to explain, but CDI games, nothing else looks like them. I can't explain it. You just kind of either have to know or look it up. But this game just encapsulates those games' aesthetics perfectly, like to a T. Where I feel like you could actually, play this game on a CRT, and if someone for some reason grew up with CDI back in the day, you could probably convince them that this was like a CDI game. The way that they're recreated is so perfect. It cuts into all these weird cutscenes that are, awkwardly and funnily animated with, like, wacky voice acting. But, it's very, tongue-in-cheek and knows what it is. It's super funny.
Yeah.
It's written super well. Just like the Zelda CDI games, the art style and animation are very inconsistent, which is really funny. So it's like midway through a cutscene, it'll be animated and the characters will be drawn totally different. It's so funny.
Yep.
And the difference between this and the Zelda CDI games is that it's super fucking fun. It is an awesome, awesome game to play. It is a 2D side-scrolling kind of action platformy kind of game. It's actually a little hard, especially early on before you get any health upgrades and stuff. You really got to kind of learn enemy patterns and different things to see the way to approach levels as you go. You collect different things like jewels and coins and all these other kind of different things to unlock more moves and unlock different levels in the game. So it's kind of typical in that way, but you're really playing the game for, the aesthetic is really fun and unique and interesting. The gameplay is very solid and tight. The music is fantastic. It actually has a killer soundtrack. It's a soundtrack that I've actually been listening to on the regular since I played this game.
That's funny.
And honestly, I just can't recommend it enough. It's funny how a game that's parodying some of the worst games ever made is actually one of the most fun games I've ever played, honestly. So I have to give a huge shout out to this game, and I would definitely recommend it to both of you. It is another game where it's definitely, you could beat it in a weekend. If you want to do the platinum trophy, it's hard because you have to play through it 3 times, so that's why I haven't gotten the platinum.
Oh, I hate sets like that, dude.
Yeah, that's the only, because it's like you have to play it, then you have to play it without getting any upgrades, and then you have to play it again, like on like the extra difficult mode that I think you unlock by playing it without any upgrades or something like that. So it's weird, but just playing through the game. Getting 100% all the items, different things, 100% worth it. It's super duper fun. I was so mad because I missed out on one trophy though, and that is beating the game with 100% upgrades. And I had 100% of the upgrades, and I didn't get the trophy, so I thought that it was glitched. And I started a new game, not knowing that you could only have one save all at a time, so that save was gone. My 100% save disappeared. And afterwards I looked it up, and it's because I have to beat the final boss with all of the upgrades. So because I beat the final boss, then got all the upgrades, I didn't get the trophy, but if I would have beaten the game with all the upgrades, I would have got the trophy, so I was like, oh my god, that's so frustrating. Yeah, so that was kind of annoying, but, stupid achievement hunter, gripes aside, if it wasn't for Rebirth and Persona 3 Reload, this actually would be my game of the year, which is something I never thought I would
That's
say.
hilarious.
So, yeah, I need to get a physical copy of this. I usually don't like buying limited run games, but this is one I'm gonna have to fork out for eventually because it's probably like a top 20er of all time. I was incredibly shocked with how much fun I had with this game.
Neat.
I remember limited run at when I was at Too Many Games in June. They had it, and I almost picked it up, but I ended up passing. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll
maybe when I go to
and-
the con next month with you guys, if there's a vendor that has it for a decent price. So
never know.
Here's the real question: will the Nintendo Museum have any reference whatsoever to any of the Zelda CDI games?
I don't think so.
think
I've seen a
they'll
lot
ever
of
bring those up
screenshots. I've seen a lot of of photos and videos of people that are there, and I've not seen any CDI, unfortunately. So
Dude, Nintendo April Fool's Day, gotta add those to NSO. Just why not?
just for one day, and then get rid of them. Have like a
They just
CDI
take them
app.
off.
I wouldn't even
Man.
be mad. That'd be awesome. But yeah, you guys gotta check it out. I think you'd both really enjoy this game. It is shockingly good. So
It's fun.
Might have to. That's what I'm excited for this episode. Like I said, I haven't really played a lot, so I kind of hoping to get some good ones to try out and start.
oh yeah, you'll get
Pretty
a
cool.
lot of good recommendations out of me. So
Sounds good.
all right.
I mean, another one I could point out. It's one that came out kind of recently. Well, I think last year, if I'm right. A little indie game, Vampire Survivors.
Mm.
That's one I wanted to bring up because I've been playing through that a lot now that it's also on PlayStation. I remember I bought it on Steam because I wanted to play it on that, and then they released it on Switch, so I bought it on the eShop. Then they released it on PlayStation, so got it on PlayStation. And
Yeah,
it's kind of
$12.
yeah, man. Dude, the amount of DLC on that game is crazy. They have like Contra and like a whole bunch of different other franchises, which is really
Among
cool to
Us?
see.
Is
Yeah,
it all
Among
free
Us.
too?
I
I
think
don't
some of
think
the later
it's-
ones you have to pay for. I think like
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
there's a bunch of free DLC, and then I think they hit a point. I don't know exactly. I feel like they hit a point after like Promise DLC kind of thing, where they like I think the Contra
Yeah.
one you have to buy, right? And I think the Among Us one you have to buy,
Mhm.
maybe. I can't
And that
remember.
makes sense because they have to license that out.
I
But
think
And it's
so.
cool because like when you play those, they have like the Contra abilities and the whole stage is like Contra themed and
that's fun.
all that type of stuff, which is cool. And so pretty much, and it's kind of cool playing a game where it's essentially, if you play, it's like a roguelike, and then eventually it turns into like a bullet hell, but you are the bullet hell because of just
Heck yeah.
everything going on and going crazy. Like, when you
Yep.
start off, first off, shout out to my garlic guy. Breath smells so bad that people just die around you.
That's so funny.
Love that ability. But it's so cool, like later on, just going through all the levels and then finding all the different upgrades you can get. So like there will be like a kind of supporty kind of item and then an attack item. Then if you get the certain combo, you get them all maxed out, or you get the weapon to the max level. Then when you get a chest, you can get the enhanced version or whatever they call it, and it's just some special ability. One of my favorites is the just simple throwing knives because then it's just constant throwing knives going whichever way you're like going, so you just storm through enemies. In the beginning levels, it's great, like per se when you have the garlic, and then you just see a swarm of bats coming. Usually you'd want to avoid it, but no, you want to walk into it and then just destroy them all, and then you get all the gems, and it feels so satisfying. Or when you see like a little boss coming up, and then you can take him out, and then they drop a treasure chest, which you can get either one item from, 3 items from, or 5 items from. When you get the 5 items, it's like you just, I don't know, you're on
It's like
cloud nine.
it's like the jackpot sound, like a dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, it goes bam bam bam, and like the screen
Yep.
blows up.
And then if you get the 5, it's like a whole victory thing. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's great. Yeah, you guys play Vampire Survivors? Well, I know, Zach, you did, Craig?
I haven't yet, but I own it on PlayStation 5 because I had enough PlayStation Stars points for a $5 gift card. And I hopped on Zach's
so
stream. I was like, what can I get for $5? And Zach was like, you should get Vampire Survivor. So I bought it and downloaded it, but I
remember
have not
that,
played it
yeah.
yet. So
Aw.
per
Great.
Mr. Beating's suggestion.
It's a
I
great
haven't
value. I
downloaded.
spent $5 on it on the Switch, and I put 50 hours into it.
Holy shit.
I 100%ed it. I did every challenge, every collectible, everything, every level. Great game. Tal, you mentioned how satisfying it is to get all the gems. one of my favorite things to do is to intentionally not get the gems, and like
Oh, and you get the
destroy
little
everything.
orb.
Have like a ring of gems around you where the game like there's so many things on the screen that the Switch can't even handle it, and then I get like the magnet or the orb, whatever it is, and they
Yeah.
all come flying to me, and the game like freezes as I'm like leveling up. That's
It's
always
like,
very fun.
ting, and then you like pick your thing,
Yeah.
up, ting, pick your thing.
Yeah.
So good.
The game's also really weird. Like I don't want to spoil it, but like if you get further and you start doing a lot of the challenges, the game will start doing some interesting things to you. I'll leave it at that. But it's a really fun game. You can roll credits. So I would play until you roll credits.
Yeah, I didn't know it had an ending.
Yeah. It's not super clear how that happens until you play more. It's really interesting how it like leads you to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really great game. It's a one finger game. It's only the joystick. You don't control anything. No buttons. The only time you use a button is to confirm, like confirm in a menu or to pick an upgrade. But other than that, it's just the left stick.
Interesting.
So it's a great game to play if you're just like listening to a podcast or watching something. You can just kind of look down and move around and pick your upgrade, and you don't have to like pay super a lot of attention until the end when it gets really hectic.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, figuring out like the combinations of weapons to use is really fun. And which ones mix together to make like super weapons, like Tyler mentioned. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and for being like a $5 game, you gotta recommend it. But
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I definitely want to check more of that out. Yeah, it seems perfect for, watching TV or something while you're playing it or something like that. So
100%.
like a good
100%.
multitask kind of game.
Yeah.
I love when I have a game that only takes 50% of my attention. I can catch up on some anime or something. So
Yep, it's good for
catch
that.
up on One Piece.
oh god, never. It's too much.
I'm always
read that
like, yeah,
shit. I
one
can't
day,
watch
but
it.
then that's like a year ago, and then like 50 more episodes come out. I'm like, yeah, one day.
And then it just keeps getting further and further away. But I refuse to not be there when we find out what the One Piece is. So I have to be caught up. I probably
Will
have at
we-
least 5 more years, though, for being honest.
Will we
so-
still be alive?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know where the One Piece is? I'll tell you. It's in the landfill in New Mexico.
It's a copy of E.T. for the Atari 2600. Zach, what's your next game?
Um,
That was
Next
a good
game
joke.
was-
I actually didn't see that coming.
yeah, if I didn't hate you so much, I'd laugh at it.
Yo, I gotta go find an ET costume, and I'm gonna dress up as that for a Halloween episode.
That'd be
You
awesome.
can ET go home. I don't want to see that. Next game I want to talk about is a Super Kiwi 64. Craig, you probably guessed this one.
Yeah, that was actually on my list. I have, what is the name of the developer? Cicatro. I had it written down.
Yeah.
And then I had written down Kiwi 64, McBat 64, and Tori 3D. So
Yeah, I have they just released a Tori Fun Pack on the Switch. It was like
oh, okay.
$1.99. It was 99 cents. It was 99 cents. And it was 3 Tori games. And I was like, okay. So I got that. I played the first of the 3 for about 30 minutes. I was like, I'll go back to that for 99 cents, whatever.
It is, yeah. Tori 3D is very fun. But go on about Kiwi 64. I know you love this game. This is famously your Discord profile picture is Kiwi 64. Is Kiwi.
Yeah.
So.
Make
I
me buy
forgot
it after
why-
this stream.
I have the one. So Twitter, other than being a hellscape for whatever the hell propaganda it wants to throw at me, I also get a lot of good indie game recommendations from Twitter, because I follow a lot of indie devs and I like and retweet a lot of indie stuff. So like it'll like recommend me more of that kind of stuff. And Super Kiwi 64 is one of those games that just like I feel like it just popped up on my Twitter one day. It's like Super Kiwi 64 releases now, and it was like $3, and I was like, oh okay, why not? I remember trying it out, and I played the whole game in one sitting. It's not a long game. It's like maybe hour and a half,
It's
2
like
hours,
an hour.
maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's an hour and a half at most, probably. Maybe
Yeah, hour and a half.
2 if you tried 100% it. But
Exactly. But it's just a real simple like 3D N64 style platformer collectathon kind of thing. It's got a really fun moveset. So you have the bird, the kiwi, obviously, and he has like the waka, 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 like noise when he walks. But he has a really good glide, and then you have like a dash that you can like stick into. I think you can stick into the wall. Can you stick into the
yeah, you
wall?
can stick into the wall and then you can
Yeah.
bounce yourself up.
Yeah. With your like your nose, your kiwi
Hmm.
beak. Um, but I think my favorite thing about that game is the freaking like main theme is so good. I listen to that sometimes on YouTube just like for the fun of it. Again, it's a really fun game. If you like 3D platformers, it's a really solid 3D platformer. Has it's not like super difficult or anything. It's not super long, but it really tugs on the nostalgia
Hmm.
heartstrings if you have any affinity for those kinds of games. And it's like I said, it's like $3. I think the DLC was like $1 or $2. They added a couple more levels, which were very strange and like a tie-in to MacBat 64, I think. And after I beat the DLC, I was like, well, I gotta play this MacBat game. And then that was like $1 on the Switch eShop or
Hmm.
$2, whatever it was. Not as fun of a
You did
game,
that
but
on
still,
stream, didn't you?
yeah, I just like
Right?
bought it on a
Yeah.
whim because it was like $2.
Yeah.
And that was a fun game, not as good as Kiwi 64, but it was interesting. So yeah, that Sicatrio or Sicario, whatever the developers called it, forget. But
Yeah,
um,
Sicatrio, I think.
yeah,
It's
I'm gonna keep buying.
Siactro.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep buying their games.
Yeah, because
But
all they do is release, all their games are like $1 to $3, and they're under 2 hours, and they're very fun.
they're just yeah, just solid fun games. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think you were mostly talking about Super Kiwi 64.
yeah.
And there's also just a Kiwi 64. I'm not sure if you played that because I'm pretty sure that they didn't release that on Switch.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
That
about that.
is, I believe, only on itch.io is how I got it
Okay.
originally, and it's just one big level, and that one is much much more like Banjo Kazooie esque kind of feeling. The games themselves are very inspired, obviously, by that, but
Yep.
super duper fun. That McBat 64, they're both worth playing because they reference one another in very funny ways. But yeah, they're just super fun. Like you say, they really do a good job of matching the N64 aesthetic. Between the music, the gameplay style, just the cute, funny animal characters, the funny writing, the little weird noises the characters make when they talk when that happens once in a while. It's just very,
Yep.
very fun games.
I felt bad because I wanted to support the developer. They released like a plush of Kiwi
Oh, yeah.
a couple months ago, and I was like hovering over the purchase button because I thought it was really cool, and they're like making funny little videos with it. It was like $40, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, like the game's like three. I'm gonna buy a $40 plush. Like I get like
I
it's
was very
40.
close to buying it too because I just love buying plushes, but
Yeah,
uh, it's hard because as much as I'm the same boat as you, I was like $40,
yeah. I was like,
like and maybe it's
yeah. I was like,
maybe they were afraid they wouldn't like hit the stretch goal if they didn't have like a high price or something. I'm not
yeah,
sure if they hit the stretch goal. I hope they did, but
yeah.
it was a very very adorable plush. I kind of regret not getting it.
I do too. It's one of those things. It's like I waste so much bullshit for well over $40. I should have just bought that plush and forgot about it, but I didn't. So sadly, I'll have to live with that forever that I didn't buy it. But
Yeah, and then Tori 3D was the other one, kind of mixed in with this developer I was gonna bring up. Very fun, just uh, kind of like Sonic inspired, but not. They're all about just like kind of like linear stages that you're doing your best to speed run through. It's kind of
yeah,
like
really
just like a speed
fast.
run go fast game, but it feels really good. Has more of a PS1 aesthetic opposed to a N64 aesthetic, so that's kind of
Yep.
cool too. Gives it its own kind of vibe, and it has like really weird random horror elements, which is kind of funny because it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about this developer too is he has a lot of weird random horror elements. Even in Kiwi 64, there's that one really weird level where everything's just like dreary and like ghosty, and the music super like haunting and creepy, and then nothing
Yeah.
scary happens. It's just like meant to make you feel dreadful, like something's gonna happen. It's
I
very
think
strange how they do that. But I kind of like it just because it's like a unique I don't know, just like almost like a tag for this developer that like he puts like
yeah.
weird unnecessary horror in his cute animal
I
games.
I thought that was funny when I played the DLC for the first time. Like I didn't know about the connection to McBat 64 or whatever, and
Hmm.
like this weird like villain that they introduced. In my opinion, they just introduced in Kiwi 64. Like you said, this weird dark side of it. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? I had no connection to it, but it was funny
Yeah,
to
that
see it
is
like connect to
something
the other games.
I actually haven't played yet, as I haven't played the DLC for Super Kiwi 64,
Yeah,
and
it's fun.
especially since it's only $1, I need to get that eventually.
It's a couple more
Tyler,
levels, but yeah.
you got to do it. Gotta play Super Kiwi 64.
Yeah, well, considering it's really cheap, I might as well, right? Is it like
Oh,
only
it's
on the Switch or like?
I think console wise it's only on the Switch, but you could get it on
Probably on
Steam as
Steam.
well. So yeah, so if you wanted to play on your Steam Deck or something, but I do know it's like even I remember when Kiwi 64 Super Kiwi 64 came out on the Switch, I got it for $1 because I bought another one of the guy's games called Beanie, which is like a platformer game that looks like in the style of Donkey Kong Country 64, where you literally just go up for like 20 levels, you know, in different iterations. It's very strange. It was 99 cents, but it was like if you owned that, then you got Kiwi 64 for $1 as well. So,
I hope this
the
guy's
person,
making millions of dollars. I hope this
like I
is the
said,
richest man on the planet.
like these games are just selling like crazy. We don't
I
know
hope
it.
so. I hope
He's making
so.
the millions from the plushies, dude.
Yeah, well, he is making high quality, unique games for very, very cheap. So
Affordable prices.
1,000%, this person is worth supporting. Shout out to them.
Right.
Yep.
All right, Tyler, what else you got?
All right, one more that I got that I wanted to give a quick little shout out to. I don't know if you guys ever played it. Hotline Miami. You guys ever played Hotline
Yes.
Miami? Dude,
I
Hotline Miami is so good.
love Hotline Miami.
It's been a little bit since I played it, and I haven't played through it fully. I still got to, but I remember like helping Jonathan and well, I wasn't it was kind of new at the game, so I wasn't really helping. I was kind of just trying it out, I guess you could say. But Jonathan and Jason, when they were trying to go for like the time trials trophies, where you gotta like, or not time trials, but you gotta do it all quickly and get the better rank types per se. But Hotline Miami, you pretty much there's different levels. There's level or not levels. There's certain amount of people in the room. Your goal, you put a mask on. Each different mask has like a different ability. Like there's a frog mask, like a chicken mask, like a unicorn mask or something like that. No, I got like random. It's like Peter and all this stuff. But anyhow, so you go through the level, you find different weapons and stuff, and your goal is to pretty much take out all the enemies, if I remember correctly. And there's different like obstacles. Like it's like a top-down view. You got different doors and stuff, and you got to do it in like the quickest and kind of most sneakiest way possible, I guess per se. And then like if you knock somebody out with like a bat per se, or like you swing the door at them, you can like walk up to them and then you just like pick up their body, like, "Doot, doot, doot," and then you just like murder them. Uh, but anyhow, just playing through that and just trying to find the best way to do it and kind of like in the fastest way you can do it and most efficient was pretty fun, and it's one I definitely want to like go back to and play more. But and the second one, I never played the second one.
No, me
So
neither. I was gonna say I have played Hotline Miami. Absolutely loved it. That game's tough as shit. But it's so fun.
it's one
You
of those where
know,
it's so tough that once you like finally like get the grip of it and then you get to the next level, it's like yes, you know, you feel accomplished, you know.
yeah, you definitely get in the rhythm. Some of my it's I don't know, it's just so fun. The controls are so snappy. You know, it's very hard, but like I said, it's just the most rewarding thing when you beat the levels, and you can do so many funny little things like distracting people or like slamming a door into them to knock them
Mm-hmm.
out a little bit, and then coming around and shooting them. It's just very good. I don't know if you guys have seen John Wick 4, but it's very funny because there's a scene in John
That
Wick
one
4
scene
where
that's
yeah, where you're like, yeah, they definitely played Hotline Miami, and they're like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. I need this in my John Wick movie. And it's all top down, and it looks exactly like playing Hotline Miami. It's so funny.
like spot.
Have you played this game, Zach?
I have not. I've heard good things, but I have not ever played Hotline Miami. No.
Also has a killer soundtrack. And it's very if you're into like the vaporwave aesthetic, which I am. I love that kind of like look and sound. Very, very vaporwavy. So man, I wonder if they have that soundtrack on vinyl. I would love to have that. That would be a really cool soundtrack.
Sure they
to
do.
have.
They probably do.
Somebody made one. Whether or
I
not
know.
it's
That's
legal or
something I'm
not.
trying to do more, is actively buy like video game OSTs on vinyl. I think that's a cool thing to own.
Yeah. Hotline Miami. I want to play more of it.
Yeah, I want to play the second one, so I got the collection on clearance for PS4 at GameStop a while ago.
That's
so
how I
own
got it.
So
That's what
yeah.
I.
All right, Zach, you got another game for us?
Yeah, I have one more. That I have a few more, but one more I guess I'd like to bring up.
Oh, you can bring up more than one because I still got like 4 or 5 that I'm ready to go into deep detail about.
Give me some
Sure, okay.
recommendations, fellas. Let's go. Lay
The
it
next
on me.
one I really like is a game called Loop Hero. Have y'all heard of Loop Hero?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know what
I'm
it
not
is.
sure.
I've definitely heard the name.
So it's a like almost it's almost like a reverse roguelite. So what it is you have you have a loop, a somewhat circular track, and its little character. It has like really old school like computer, um, like style graphics. We're talking like black background with like really simple, like pixel sprites, um, and they just like walk around the circle, and then you'll get like a random encounter of like a pretty traditional like a you have like vampires, wolves, spiders, traditional RPG enemies, and you pick like a class. So like the first one you have like the warrior class. So this character when you run to the when he walks around the loop and hits an enemy, it goes into like a turn-based style battle thing, and they'll auto attack. And when he kills the enemy, he gets experience and you can level up. So the point of the game is you aren't controlling him, you're controlling the world around him and adding obstacles, and you're trying to pace the level at which you add obstacles to make him stronger at a pace that he can maintain and level up so he can keep surviving. And you don't want to kill him too fast to make it too hard for him because then he'll die. But if you keep it too easy, the boss will show up when he's not strong enough level. Um, so it's like you're controlling the environment around the character to level them up, and then choosing which equipment they get and stuff like that. Um, it's got really nice sprite work in the actual battles itself, but the when you're not in the battles, it's got like really old school, crappy pixel graphics. It's I played it on Steam, so I was playing with the mouse, and it has got the old cursor, and you like click on the big crunchy buttons that it has in the game. The music is really really good, but it's like it's almost like they intentionally had like bad crunchy audio. It like sounds like it's old music, but it's really really catchy chip tunes. It's a really cool game. It's from a studio called I believe it's called Four Corners Studio. Devolver published it. I played it on Steam, and then I bought I should have grabbed it off the shelf. I have the limited run version of it.
Yeah, cool.
I'll grab it when we talk next, and I'll show it real quick. But it's a really cool game. I want to play it again on the Switch. You do runs, then you go back to like a base. In between, there's like some characters giving some level of story, and you can like upgrade your home base to where you have certain upgrades are better. That kind of keeps the between runs aspect of it fun. But the game itself is really solid. Yeah, so you basically put in obstacles around the map, make it harder for them. They level up, kill bosses, repeat. But fun game.
Cool. That sounds cool. Yeah,
If you-
I had no idea about it. Yeah, well, go grab it real quick.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
give a little show and tell. I'm curious about that. Yeah, that sounds like it could be a good time.
That's the closet.
Oh my gosh.
I just realized. I'm sorry. The game's somewhere on the shelf. I only have the outer box, which tells you nothing about the game.
Oh.
I'm such a scrub. The game's somewhere on the shelf. I don't have the.
Oh, that's funny.
Are the inserts gone? Oh man.
Uh-oh.
The inserts are somewhere. Oh, there it is. One second.
He's going
He
back.
found it. He's going back.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's on a mission.
He's going to find the One Piece.
One Piece. Have you watched or read any One Piece?
I have not. That's why I'm so like intimidated by it all. I'm like,
Just read it. I don't think it's a good watch, honestly. It was a show meant to be watched weekly. It's not very bingeable in my opinion, and it's has that issue a lot of 2000 Shonen has, where it's a lot of staring at each other and grunting for half an episode, and then 10 minutes of recap at the beginning of the episode. So definitely recommend reading it over watching it.
All right. I know that was great podcasting there, leaving for a little bit, but I
sorry, we
just
kept it going.
kind of get a visual there. So this is like you can
Oh.
see this is the little loop you're talking. Like so, you walk around this loop and you put I'm really close to the mic. I'm sorry. You put
Yeah,
obstacles
for
around.
a second it was really bad.
Yeah, I was just like,
So for this game.
So this is the loop you walk around, and then you put obstacles around it. And this is one of the bosses. This guy right here.
Neat.
It's got a cool
I'm
like
curious about that.
loop hero, and then got this
neat.
cool little like guy walking up to the crazy castle view thing.
That's cool.
It's a fun game. Really addicting too. So
Yeah,
check out Loop Hero.
I think I'm pretty sold on that one. Honestly, that sounds like a
yeah,
lot
that
of
sounds
fun.
pretty neat.
Is that a Switch exclusive console wise?
I don't think so. I don't
Just
think so,
curious,
but I
yeah.
also don't know so.
I hate to
I
be that
doubt it.
guy. I just prefer playing games on my PlayStation. So,
I feel like Devolver's pretty good about publishing their games, at least on PlayStation.
hmm,
Not so much Xbox, but I feel like they come to PlayStation and Switch.
good to
I
know.
got it
Yeah,
on Steam, and then I bought the Switch version later. So,
hmm, cool, cool. Good to know.
yeah.
All right, next up, a game that's been talked about to death, but I want to talk about it anyway. Another all-time favorite of mine, Undertale. Have either of you
Mhm.
guys played Undertale?
I
No,
have not. I would. It's on my
I
list of like important games I need to
Oh,
play.
yeah, that's one I
heartbreaking.
definitely want to get to.
I,
So I played. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to finish Earthbound before I play Undertale. I didn't want to
That's
like
fair.
usurp it and then like, so like I wanted to finish that first.
So how much do you guys know a lot about Undertale, or do you just know of it?
Uh,
I I know it
no
plays
of
on
it.
your expectations of an RPG and like and works with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's the basic gist of it. I know, but
Mm-hmm. Tyler.
Pretty much similar. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know too much. I know like characters and stuff, but
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a very famous game. Obviously, one of the most successful indie games of all time. Heavily, heavily, heavily inspired by Earthbound, as many indie role playing games are. But it is, one of the best selling, one of the most beloved, one of the most disliked, I guess, too, honestly, for a reason. For a long time, you couldn't escape this game, and it turned a lot of people off, unfortunately. It was one of those things where it was so everywhere that people were just like, I don't want to see this, I want to hear about this, this is so annoying.
yeah.
Undertale fans are the worst. And I totally get that because overexposure is definitely a thing, and it sucks, when you have this game that is so much about choice and option in different routes that you could take, the way that you approach every fight and the way that you decide to play the game. And you have all these people going, oh, you got to play it this way to experience it this way. Then you play it this way. And it's like, no, the point is that you play it the way you want to play it because it's a game about, your actions having consequences, which is really cool. This game, even if not super significantly different from one another, has like 20 something endings, super duper replayable.
okay.
It has three major routes that you could play through, and really you only need to play through those three, honestly, to get the full experience, in my opinion. I actually am a firm believer that there is, a best way to play this game. So even though people were being annoying about the way that you should play it back in the day, they were kind of right because it's probably the best way to experience the game. So if you guys don't know, kind of one of the gimmicks of the game is that you don't really have to fight anybody, which is really cool. So everyone that you fight, you could spare them or you can attack them, kill them, whatever. And this greatly affects the way that the rest of the game goes, the way that every other character talks to you, speaks to you, treats you. It changes drastically depending on the decisions you make, and the more bad or good or evil or nice decisions you make, there's so many different ways to experience this game because the creator Toby Fox pretty much famously thought of everything. You could think about buying a certain item from a certain character or moving a certain rock a certain way or doing a puzzle wrong on purpose, and there is a line of text to go along with it. Like, he truly thought of every single way that you can interact with a video game and made a joke out of it. Like, there's a sign. It's funny because I forgot about this. This was a clip going around recently online where it was like a sign in the middle of a forest, and it was just like "dog wedding here," and you're like, "Wait, what?" And you click on the sign again, and it says, "Yes, you read that right." It's just like the humor is just top notch, just very funny. All the characters are very likable. All the boss fights are super duper, super insanely memorable. The soundtrack is top tier. Toby Fox actually went on to do some music for a couple of Nintendo games with Game Freak. Specifically, I know that he did some for Little Town Hero, and I think it was for Scarlet and Violet. He did some music as well,
He
which
did
is
the
really
raid
cool.
battle theme,
Hmm. Yeah,
which is a great theme.
he's
By
an
the way.
excellent musician, and it's funny because he got his start, being really big into the Earthbound ROM hacking community back in the day. So he's always been like very prevalent in kind of like an indie game scene from the early days, which is really cool. So, No, shout out to Toby Fox, one of the best game devs and musicians, probably of all time, in my opinion. Especially since Undertale is basically a one-man show, which is absolutely insane when you think about how complex that game is. Apparently, it's the coding in it is really like, according to professional programmers, really amateurish and bad, which is kind of funny.
I think it's
but
awesome,
that also
actually.
no, exactly. It's like, but somehow it still all works, and that's kind of what makes it cool. So, you know, in the turn-based battles, they're not just turn-based. They're basically like bullet hell battles within turn-based battles, which is really cool. So everything about it's just super unique. Undertale, definitely one of a kind. It's gonna sound stupid and cheesy, but I truly mean it when I say Undertale made me a better person. It really changed, you know, some of my outlooks on life and the way that I interact with other people, on a deeper level that I didn't think that I would get out of playing a video game, especially because I played it when I was 19 years old. I played it at launch. I was actually one of those. I was one of the earlier adopters of that game. As soon as it came out, basically, I was like, "Oh, this looks neat," and I fell in love with it right away. And I just can't recommend it enough. So sorry for my rambling, but I
you're
love
good.
Undertale. So
No, I've been told so many times by everyone on the internet I need to play this game. I just haven't found the.
and one last suggestion for
Yep.
either of you guys if you decide to play it, please play it on PC. It has console ports,
Okay.
but for believe it or not, spoiler reasons, I won't tell you why. Play it on PC. It's meant to be played there. So
Oh,
there's
interesting.
things you
Don't play
can
the
do
Switch
on.
version.
Yeah, so you can do things on a PC that you can't do on a console. So it's worth playing the PC version.
Okay.
I'm sure I don't know if my dinosaur PC could run that, but
No, dude, the specs are insanely low on Undertale.
I don't know.
You can probably run Undertale no problem, honestly.
Let's try it out. Do my next YouTube video. Can my PC run Undertale?
That'd be
And then it does
really
it.
It's a good series for you. Can my PC run blank?
That would be awesome.
I
Alright,
remember
Tyler.
once I tried running. I had the PC version of Sonic R, and I tried using that, but my computer was too fast for it,
That's
too
so
up to
funny.
date. So, which I don't know how, but it was, so I couldn't play.
That was my childhood way of playing Sonic R. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah?
have a Sega Saturn. I had the PC version of that, and the PC version is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So,
Snap,
the good stuff.
man. Zach, what's another indie game that I should check out? Because I
Oh
don't.
gosh. Let's see. There's a platformer in here I want to talk about. A couple platformers actually. One of them, just quick shout out, a game called Lunistis. It's a PS1 style 3D platformer. Like the graphics like a PS1 style. So I didn't play a whole lot of PS1 growing up, but I guess the way I always think PS1 versus N64, N64 always looks like rounder and muddier, and PS1 looks like sharper and crisper with the 3D graphics. So Lunistis is a fun little 3D platformer. I beat it in one sitting. It's just a level based, get to the end, got some collectibles on the way. Not too difficult. You play as a little fox. I think you can like double jump. But it's really leaning into the PS1 graphic style. Nice little soundtrack. I beat it on a flight. It's fun to check out. And then if you want something a little different for a platformer, there's a one I played last year it's a Game Boy aesthetic. Really going for like the old like the Game Boy palette and like the lack of color diversity. There's like a few colors on screen at a time. Curse Crackers for Whom the Bell Toils. It's a 2D platformer, side scroller, and you have a bell. The bell. Your friend is like a living chime. I think her name is Chime. That's what it is. Her name's Chime. The bell. You can throw her into things and then bounce off of her. You got like a little overworld where you can talk to people, but the platforming is where it's at. Got some fun little bosses. I think both those games are pretty cheap, and they're if you want like a 2D platformer or a 3D platformer, I could recommend both of those. So
Yeah, it's Lunistis. I'm looking at like screenshots right now because I wanted to see. Looks pretty neat.
Yep.
and colorful, which is cool.
Yep. I bought that game at a similar time, I feel like, to when I bought
Got
Super
a
Cube
10 out of 10
64.
on Steam. Apparently,
Good for Steam. They know what they're talking about.
92% like this video game.
There you go. Not too
Yeah,
shabby.
solid.
All right. Next up for me, another Earthbound inspired RPG, because I have a couple of those on my list, honestly, is Omori. Have either of you guys heard of Omori?
I heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Any familiarity, Zach?
I feel like I've heard it, but I'd be lying if I said I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this is a game that was in basically development hell for like 8 or 9 years. Like people are
Wow.
backers were getting really mad because of how long it took them to make this game and release it. It was originally supposed to be a 3DS and Vita game. Neither of those ports ever happened. Ended up just being on PC for a while. Now it's on Switch and PS4. So Omori is a game about a very depressed young boy that doesn't want to leave his house or his room or anything, and the majority of the game you are in playing basically in his dream world. The name Omori comes from the term hikikomori, which is the Japanese word for like recluse, like doesn't leave the house, loner, isolated, things like that. And basically you're playing through this kid's kind of idealized dream world where it's like everything is happy and fine. His sister who died is still alive and she's in the dream all the time. You're with all your childhood friends that you don't get along with or talk to anymore as you're a teenager now. So it's very sad and very depressing, honestly. But the game is a lot about emotion. Your character can either... It's a turn-based RPG, so your character can either be neutral, they can be either happy, angry, or sad, and this affects them. I pulled up the chart because I couldn't remember exactly what each one does, but if your character's happy, their lux and speed go up, but their hit rate goes down. If they're angry, their attack goes up, but their defense goes down. And if they're sad, their defense goes up, their speed goes down, and they do take some damage each turn that they are sad as well. And each of these emotions also has a doubling up mechanic, so you could be like depressed, ecstatic, or irate, which is fun. So you could double these status effects on yourself as well. And each character has different strengths and weaknesses. And some of them have moves where they can make other characters trigger other emotions. So there's just like a lot of mechanical depth to the combat in terms of how you try to set up your party for specific boss fights. One really cool and unique thing about this game is all of the art when you're in battle is like hand-drawn sketch style, so it has a very unique look and feel. All the enemy sprites that you have multiple iterations depending on how much damage they take and if they have any emotional changes as well, which is really cool. It does kind of a cool another Earthboundy kind of thing is all of your attacks kind of come from your own point of view. So like say you throw a tennis ball around, you see it come from inside the screen and bounce around and then bounce back, so it has like a cool effect in that way as well. But yeah, this is another game very heavily about choice. There is multiple endings, multiple ways you could go about the game. It's not too much of a spoiler, I don't think I could say. So one thing is, in certain parts of the game, you're not in the dream world, and you could go out into the real world. But you could choose to be a recluse and not ever answer the door when people come and visit you. And if you do this, you do what is called the Hikikomori route, which is like 10 to 15 hours of content that you will not see in the game otherwise if you don't do this. So it's like a whole totally different campaign,
Wow.
depending on the decisions you make, which is really cool. So there's just a lot to this game. It's super deep. Also has a fantastic soundtrack. The writing is very good. Has a bit of a contentious ending. It's funny because I've had like debates with my wife about it because she thinks this is terribly written, terrible, in poor taste, and I think that it's actually really well done and realistic for how children would react to tragedy, I guess is the best way to put it, because a lot of it surrounds the idea of the main character's sister not being alive anymore. So it's a very deep and very sad game, but it's I think a very important game because it gets in, I like games that get into subjects that other people are afraid to touch. I kind of like when when people bring up really sensitive subjects and they're able to give commentary and talk about it in a very mature way. Not shroud it in humor, not make it seem overly dark or depressing. When the characters in this game have strong emotions, I feel like they're justified and they feel real and really well written. So, it almost makes me worry about the developer. I'm like, are you okay? Like, did something happen to you? Because it feels too real sometimes.
Yeah.
But, and this game also does horror super well, actually. There's some pretty unsettling and, jumpy scenes in this game, which you wouldn't expect from it being a mostly, 2D sprite-based, like, JRPG style game. So, it has a lot going on. Tons and tons of content, super duper replayable, and I don't know, it's just fantastic. It was my favorite game of 2020. I remember it came out on Christmas Day of 2020, so it's the very, very end of the year. It like shadow dropped that day. Nobody knew it was coming. It was
Merry
very
Christmas.
exciting. Yeah, exactly, because that game was developing for years, and people were just like, it's never gonna come out, and then it just randomly came out one day, and everyone was like, oh my god. And I wasn't there since the beginning, but I had been following the game, I think, for at least 4 years up until it was actually released, because there is a indie artist named Slime Girls that worked on most, if not all, of the soundtrack, and they're just one of my favorite artists ever. So I found out about the game through this artist, Slime Girls, and they're just absolutely fantastic. So Omori, definitely worth checking out as well. And it is on PlayStation with, I think, like almost 100 trophies, Tyler. So it is
100?
I'm pretty sure it has like 100 trophies. It's one of those games that just has a lot of achievements for some reason. So
I gotta find this out now.
yeah, look into it.
I was
'Cause
interested
I
in
remember
that.
on Steam it had a ton of achievements, and usually lists across all platforms are the same. So,
Nice.
but yeah, so I have a few more Earthbound inspired games, because of course I do. But if you have any more, Zach, you'd like to shout out before I keep rambling?
I do have a couple more. Can I make a quick request? My wife is texting me in a panic. There's like a cockroach, and she's gonna die if I don't leave for a moment.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Me and
Well,
Tyler got
there-
this for a minute. Go save the
Yeah.
day.
I'm sorry.
So
You're
Craig,
okay.
there's 41 trophies.
Oh,
Still a
weird.
lot.
Yeah, because I remember the Steam version had like way more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me check.
This is the right game,
Let's
right?
see.
That's one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Steam Omori achievements, because I feel like it had so many on here.
Probably
Let's
did.
see.
Steam usually has a lot more.
True, but it's like I thought that all
But it's
versions had
significantly
parity
a
with
lot.
achievements, but maybe not. Let's see. How do you even check that? I don't know. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But yeah, do you have any interest in this one? How's it sound to you?
I mean, it sounds pretty good. I mean, I want to check it out. I want to check a lot of these out that we've been talking about.
Yeah,
And
this,
like you said, those games that kind of like hit you in the feels and like have a deep meaning, like I kind of like those. One that comes to mind, I mean, it's not really like a retro inspired game, and I mean, you'd have to dig out your PlayStation VR for it. But Ghost Giant, dude, that game goes like hard on like depression and stuff like that, and loss, and just just seeing like a game like fully like express that. It's kind of like a cool to, you understand and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
you
and it
feel
makes me
for the
sad.
character.
And I get, a little irritated sometimes, because I feel like games like Omori sometimes get written off because they're like, the meme where it's like, oh, an indie RPG about depression inspired by Earthbound, another one. Like, there's a million of them, and I'm like,
You got to
there's-
play Earthbound too.
Exactly, you gotta play
Yeah.
Earthbound, but
There's so
but
much.
I think you could play all of these games that Earthbound inspired without playing Earthbound and still enjoy them fully. Like, you don't need that
Yeah,
to appreciate what they are. It's just funny if you play Earthbound and then you play all these, because you're just like, oh yeah, this bitch played Earthbound. They knew what they were doing. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Omori, Undertale, and then I have a couple more on here. I'll wait for Zach to get back that are Earthbound inspired. But that's one thing I it's actually a goal of mine, is to play all of like the biggest Earthbound like games. Like, I still need to play Lisa, which is another one. Hylics is another one. I've played Off, which I almost put on this list, but I honestly don't remember it well enough to go on about it. It was very big, more in like the early 2010s. It's interesting. It was like a French indie game that's only ever been released on PC and is free. I don't know if you ever heard of Off, have you?
No.
Yeah, it's weird. It had like a really weird boom in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Very interesting and unique game. Very strange soundtrack. I guess I'm talking about it now already, so I could keep going. But has a lot of weird, obscure puzzles. And I don't know. I just don't. I feel like I don't see a lot of games come out of France in general, let alone indie games. So I always think about Off as being just this interesting little kind of unique experience. And any game that's free is worth checking out, right? So
I'm trying to look it up to see it, but it's kind of
hard to find because it has such a generic name. But yeah, you play as the batter, and you're like a baseball-looking guy, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's another game that you could beat in one sitting, but probably if you need it, you probably need a guide for it. Yes, that is it. The art is awesome, isn't it? Like kind of like
all the
weird
ghosts coming out of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool.
So is that like your main weapon in the game, the baseball bat?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I remember when I played it, I was just like, I'm not fucking dealing with these puzzles, and I remember I just looked up a guide for every puzzle so I didn't have to do everything, so I could just keep going. I don't know, there's certain, unless I'm playing a puzzle game, a lot of the time, like when I play Resident Evil, I'm like, I'm not figuring this shit out. I'm like, just tell me which way to turn the piece of glass in the circle so I can move on.
A man in a baseball uniform on a sacred mission to purify the world.
Yeah.
After receiving guidance from a talking cat called the Judge, the batter begins to make his way through 4 locations known as zones.
Yeah, this is another one that your dinosaur of a PC would be able to handle because of how old it is. So, because your PC, I forget, is your PC 2009?
Well, that's when I got it from a buddy.
So it's probably
because he ran the original Modern Warfare 2 on it.
So funny.
So it's probably older than that. Yeah, hopefully end of this year I'll be getting a new one, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for 2 months I could do how well does my PC run this game.
Or well, if you're gonna do that, it would be fun. You might as well just keep it, right? Just keep the PC. One of my dreams, and it sucks because other people have already had this idea, so now it's not really affordable to try to do this as a hobby, is I've always wanted to build like a high-end like 90s PC. Like get all the parts to have like a really good PC to play old PC games that way. And that's
cool.
Not a novel idea anymore, unfortunately, so you can't get a lot of those parts for cheap. But I still think that'd be such a fun thing to do. I have no idea what I would actually play on it. This is how I ran.
You gotta play some like Sim City.
Pull out my old CDR of Sonic R.
Dude, I remember in like tech class in middle school, we would have like those old ancient computers playing Sim City, and what was the other one? Man, I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember, but those were the days, dude. Oh,
I know. I would love, I don't know, there's just PC gaming, especially like old PC games, is just such a blind spot for me that I really want to try. Like, I would love to play there's just a lot of weird, interesting, like, kind of like creepy horror games from back then too, like Sanitarium and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream and weird stuff like that I really want to check out.
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream?
Yeah, have you never heard of that?
What is that? Hold on.
So that is based off of a short story, considered probably the scariest short story ever written. It is so good and so creepy and super fucked up. Harleen Edison wrote it, and he was an absolute madman if you don't know about Harleen Edison. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Has the cockroach been defeated?
Yes, and I apologize for my absence.
Does the cockroach no longer have a mouth and must he scream?
Those things are resilient, I'll tell you that.
Oh my god, yeah. No, we were talking about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream while you were gone.
Do you know what that is?
I don't, but that thing is screaming. If it knows anything about screaming, it's screaming. I had to. I'm not going to get into the details unless anyone's squeamish about them, but I had to I pinned it, and then I got it, and then I had to execute it, and then to prove to my wife that she was safe, I wrapped it in several paper towels, and then I put that paper towel in a Ziploc bag that was sealed, and I put that Ziploc bag in a box in the trash can. So
Oh, you're a good husband.
Look at you.
she's asking if we can go stay at a hotel tonight, and so I'm trying to convince her we're good.
Don't worry, you'll have a new house soon.
She's like, what if there's more?
There's definitely more at the hotels, so.
That's also true. You're probably safer here.
Go there, get some bed bugs, some other stuff.
Yeah, so apologies for that. I don't know if I missed.
No, you're
Maybe
A-okay.
mosquitoes hanging around. You never know.
We ended up talking about a game. I was like, I'm thinking about this game, that game, and then we ended up talking about a game. I was like, I don't really want to talk about this one. I wasn't going to bring it up, and then we ended up talking about it anyway. So that game was off. So if you wanted to look up off afterwards, you could catch up on it.
OFF?
Yes, OFF. It is a French indie game from 2008 that's also inspired by Earthbound. So
I have a baseball bat.
yes, you are the
The
batter.
art kind of intrigued me. Just
Yeah,
saying.
it's interesting, and it's free, so can't beat free.
Very nice.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Let off.
Oh, so you were gonna mention a game right before you went? I thought you had something you were gonna say. Do you remember?
I've got a couple more I could bring up.
Yeah, of course.
First one is a really popular game. Got a lot of press last year. Sea of Stars.
Hmm.
I don't know if either of y'all played it.
I've played it, but I didn't finish it. I only played maybe the first couple hours.
Yeah, I enjoyed
to.
it. I know the obvious parallel it's trying to make is Chrono Trigger. It's got some time travel stuff. It's got the Trigger battle system. I've never
Chrono
played
Trigger.
Chrono Trigger myself. Chrono Trigger, yeah, sure. I've never played it
Shut up,
myself,
Action.
but I did really enjoy Sea of Stars. The main thing I want to shout out is in the battle system. It's an active battle system, so you actually have to time inputs and stuff. And one of the first abilities you get is the moon meringue. Where you throw a moon boomerang and you have to bounce it back and forth. That is a lot of fun as you time it hits an enemy and you hit it back to the other enemy and you. I like that. I basically use that attack the entire game, even if it wasn't the most optimal thing, just because I wanted to use the moon meringue more.
I just helped Jason get that trophy. That's kind of my only exposure to Sea of Stars playing it. Because he's like, oh, I can't get this trophy. And I was like, hey, let me try.
25 straight hits or something like that.
30. You gotta do 30 hits.
Brutal.
And I got on my third try, and I was like, oh, here we go. Cool. Third or
Yeah,
fourth try.
I played it on Switch, and I think maybe it's on PS Plus Extra. Maybe I'm making that up.
It is.
Pretty sure it
is.
was at launch at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that game's getting DLC next year with a new story, and they're gonna change up the character classes. So I'm glad they're still supporting it. I know there was some people really loved the game. Some people thought it was not quite as good as people made it out to be. I liked it. I think it was a solid, great game. It wasn't life changing, but it wasn't a disappointment for me. I had a lot of fun with it. But
Yeah, I want to get back to it. I can't lie, I was kind of turned off because it is one of those things where I feel like most people are like, yeah, it's the story's pretty whatever, and it's 20 hours long, and I was like, eh. And not that RPGs need to have very present or super strong narratives, but for the most part, when I play a game like that, I want that to be there. So
yeah, and it's not gonna blow your. It doesn't. The story's what it is. It's cool twists here and there, but it's nothing crazy. But I enjoyed it for what it was. The battle system, I liked the active. I'm a sucker for active turn-based battles, like the Mario and Luigi games.
yeah,
So I had a lot of fun with the combat.
nice. Next up, I would like to bring up a game that is the most Zach-coded game I've ever seen, which is Reverie. I think we've talked about it briefly on the show before. Reverie.
Which one is this?
It is a 2D Zelda-like, but graphically it looks more like Earthbound inspired. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going through, little dungeons and just kind of playing through. There's not really that much to say about it. It's just a really fun game, and I just know how much Zach would like it, so that's why I wanted to bring it up again, because it's, like I said, the most daily beating coded game that there is. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you did mention this to me, and it is on the Switch.
Yep. That's what I got it. I think I got it on sale on the Switch for like $5 at one point. That's the way I played it. And it's like maybe a 2 to 3 hour game, so it's very, very quick. I know that there's a PS5 version now. There's a Vita version, PS4. So they've released multiple versions. If you're a trophy whore, you can get all the different PlayStation versions. So definitely worth checking out. Fun little indie game. And just because that was a short one, I'll also bring up another short one. This Space Funeral. I love telling people about this game because I've never met another person that's heard of it. It's another Earthbound-inspired RPG. This is a weird, like, psychological, disgusting, gross-out horror RPG. It's like 45 minutes long max. It's super short. The blinder you go in, the better, because it has one of the funniest endings of all time, and one of the best endings of all time. So it's just worth checking out. It's another game that is free, PC only. When you go to download it, you might look like you're getting a computer virus, but I promise you're fine. But everybody go play Space Funeral. Take an hour out of your day because you won't be disappointed. So just had to shout that one out.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Any more, Zach?
I've got one more, just real quick. I mentioned it early in the episode that it was a Yacht Club published game, Cyber Shadow. It was made by one person, published by Yacht Club. It is a Ninja Gaiden like the old school 2D Ninja Gaidens. I've only ever played Ninja Gaiden 1 through NSO using save states and rewind because it's bullshit. But Cyber Shadow is a tough challenge, but it's not quite bullshit. And it has decent checkpointing and really good pixel graphics, and it's like really you can tell it's inspired by the old Ninja Gaiden games. It plays very similarly. It feels really solid, and yeah, it's a good, challenging platformer. I'm glad I played it. I think it's on Game Pass. It was at some point on Game Pass. I don't know if it still is, but
yeah, I've heard that's a good one. I kind of want to check that out as well.
Yep.
Looks really cool. The pixel art is beautiful. So
Yep.
Speaking of beautiful pixel art, the last game I want to talk about, I saved the best for last, of course, talking about Valhalla, one of my favorite games of all time.
Sell me on it.
I decided to be biased, and I made my girl Jill, our little corner like icon that we do for each episode. I decided to put Jill Sprite because this is just such a phenomenal game that's so special, means so much to me. So Valhalla is spelt VA-11 Hall-A, and that is because that is the location of the bar, Valhalla. You are Jill, you are a bartender, and you are in a futuristic cyberpunk world. I don't remember if they actually say what year it is, just because it's been a while since I have played this game.
2077.
Maybe, right? But the game only has 2 locations. So you have your apartment where you can kind of do some online shopping. You can read like world news, check your social media, things like that. Nothing super deep, but like good world building, cool to check out if you're having a lot of fun with the game. And then you have your job, of course, and your job is being the bartender. So you mix drinks. You have like a menu where you can see what goes into each drink if you don't remember, so you don't have to memorize anything. But sometimes somebody will order, like, they're just like, give me something sweet, and you have to give them something sweet. So you'll look through your menu, give them something good, and depending on how much characters like your drinks, your conversations will go differently with them. So this game is really just about, meeting different interesting characters and learning about the world outside, because in this game you don't really visit the outside world. There's a shop you can go to buy a couple of different items and stuff, you could buy a mini game and some decorations for your house and stuff, but it's just a static screen where you're outside. So the game really only takes place in your apartment and the bar. So everything you're learning about this cyberpunk futuristic world is through the conversations you have with other people. You get in like people that are like in charge of like the big newspapers. You get in sex worker robots. You get in people from like the cyber futuristic military police squad and different things. And the game really is just about digesting this interesting world that you're not a part of and learning about it through secondhand stories, which might not seem super appealing just hearing that, but to me, I thought it was super fascinating because it probably has some of the best writing I've ever seen in any piece of media. Everything is so fleshed out. Every character is so unique and believable. It's one of those games where every time you meet a character, you're like, yeah, I've met somebody like them in real life. Like it's like you're running into your asshole boss, or that really
Sure.
nice girl that works at the coffee shop, or something like that. Just as examples, and it's just phenomenally done. The game has some really good humor as well. The soundtrack is fantastic because it's all like, vapor wavy, futuristic, and as I said earlier, love that kind of stuff. And graphically, the game has such a good, unique look because it is inspired by like PC 98 graphics. If you guys don't know what that is, that was a line of computers that only released in Japan as far as I'm aware. And there's just something about games from that that can like that software system and all that. They just have such an insane unique look. If you guys have not seen PC 98 games, literally just Google PC 98 games, look at some screenshots of some games and tell me it's not like the most insane beautiful pixel art you've ever seen. Nothing else looks like it. It's so insanely detailed and so insanely smooth. And Valhalla, even though it's not exactly like that, it's very similar in style, and you could definitely tell that's what they were going for. And I just absolutely love the way that looks. Nothing looks like a PC 98 game. They're just so cool looking. So Valhalla, can't recommend it enough. Definitely the best visual novel ever made, and it's another game where it's like it gets pretty real sometimes to certain things, and it does that thing in a lot of cyberpunk media where it asks questions about just the different what are you sending us right now? Come on, man.
I look at PC 98 games. That's the first thing I saw.
He's showing us. He sent me and Tyler some degenerate screenshot from a PC
I looked up
98
PC
game.
98 games. That's what came up.
That's so funny. So yeah, just shout out to Valhalla. Definitely another one. I don't know if either of you guys are really visual novel guys or not, so I know that would probably heavily affect your opinion on if you want to play this or not.
Ace Attorney
I
kind
know
of was,
visual
and I
novels
really
aren't for
enjoyed it.
everybody, but I do think that this is the visual novel.
Ace Attorney
Yeah.
kind of was, and I really digged it, so I think I
I
might
was
be able
want
to
to
get
try
into it.
the EMEO game to like see if I like visual novels, the one that just came out for the Switch. But I don't have a whole lot of experience. Did you talk about this on Collective Perspective like this week or last week? I feel like I remember hearing you talk about Valhalla, but I don't know. Where
Oh,
it's
so in
from.
my Vita video, I was talking about some of my favorite Vita games, and Valhalla
that's
was
where
on
it
there.
was.
Because
Okay.
originally Valhalla was only on Vita and PC, but now it's on PS4 and Switch, maybe Xbox. I'm not totally sure. A lot of games skip Xbox, unfortunately. So very widely accessible. It's so good. I can never get over it. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if you guys have this, but it's like I have probably like a handful of games that I just think about at least once a day because they've left such an impact on me, and Valhalla is definitely one of them. So
Yeah, it sounds neat. It sounds like a interesting premise for a game. I will put it on the list.
For sure.
yeah, I
Definitely
think,
wanna
and
check it out.
and it's definitely a doable platinum. So
Oh yeah, now you're intriguing me.
Tyler's drooling now.
Why is it?
exactly.
Why is it doable? What makes it doable?
Well, if you follow a guide, there's just a couple things you have to do. Certain drinks you have to make for certain people and stuff. The only hard part is the mini game that you can buy is very hard. Is a bullet hell, and I'm not good at those, so that took me a while to
I
get.
like bullet hell.
But yeah, so it's a very good time. So yes,
On Steam, it's
Valhalla.
overwhelmingly positive, 97% out of 30,000 reviews.
Yeah, I'm telling
Wow.
you, dude, it's like this game is not huge by any means, but people, everyone that plays it loves it because and Jill is also just a phenomenal character. All the people that work in the bar with you are also very great. All the different guests you get are very fun and interesting. So everything about it's and it's funny because it has there's definitely variations on some of the events and lines you could get depending on if you mess up somebody's drink or get them something that they wanted that they didn't know they want or whatever. But for the most part, you're going to be if you were to replay the game, it's going to be a mostly similar experience every time. And I've played this game multiple times, and it just never gets old to me because of how well the writing it is. Like I said, every character you meet in this game is like, I've met this person in real life. It's like it feels like somebody you know, so it makes it all feel more real, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the last game I had on my list. I'm sure there's more games that I like that could fall under our definition of retro-inspired indies that I'm just not thinking of, but I'm glad I was able to cap it off with my favorite one.
Yeah, it's neat to hear something you're passionate about, and interesting. Some good recommendations today. I need to try
totally.
Hotline Miami. I need to try Valhalla. I need to play Undertale eventually.
Yeah,
it needs to happen. Yeah, and the other one I looked at, the Zelda-like.
Reverie.
Reverie. Yeah,
Yeah.
got that in mind.
Tyler, what's number one on your list to check out here?
ooh, number one. I mean, one that's probably like I could easily jump into would probably be that Loop Hero that Zach was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, there's quite a few that are like, I want to put on the list, like, the one you just talked about, Valhalla, and also Amori sounded pretty cool. So I kind of
Amori did sound cool. It also sounds like I need to be in the right headspace to play it.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty dark, but it also it carries the humor well. It has a good balance where it takes itself seriously when it needs to be. So
Sure.
Oh,
which
and the
is a
one
lot of the
that
time, but
and the one that now I'm already forgetting the name. That Zach
Space
said,
Funeral.
The one that Zach said, the PS1 looking graphic game.
Istis.
Ooh, yeah, that one.
Istis,
Check that one out.
Yes, and you both need to play Space Funeral because it's only 45 minutes.
And it's free, you said, so.
Exactly. So that one is like a must play because very unique and it's free. So and it's so short, no excuse.
Very nice.
All
very
right.
nice.
We do have some audience write-ins, so let's go ahead and
Want
read
me to-
those.
Want me to read them?
There's 3 audience write-ins, so why don't we go ahead and distribute these evenly? I'll take the first one, Tyler could take the second one, and Zach will take the third one. So the first
I'm fine with
write-in
that.
is from Patrick. He says, Patrick here. Sea of Stars stands out in my mind as the most recent retro-inspired game that I love. The combat, art style, music, the multiple endings is all there. Also, the new retro-style beat-em-ups like TMNT Shredder's Revenge and Double Dragon Gaiden are a blast, especially with friends. So we did talk about Sea of Stars. I totally forgot about the new TMNT games.
Oh.
Now, I have no experience with any TMNT games. I have not played any of them. But I have heard very good things about Shredder's Revenge, so I definitely want to check that out.
Yep.
So I played the original 2 on the NES. Played through those. Those were fun. I mean, I didn't beat them because they're kind of hard, but played through those. Beat Turtles in Time on the arcade with Jason, Jonathan, and I forget who the fourth person was, but Hector or Matt, one of them.
Mhm.
And Shredder's Revenge, I actually did do a full playthrough of with Jonathan, and that was a lot of fun. Just having that good old beat 'em up style action. And like Patrick says, it's best with your friends. You have a whole group playing it together, which they actually
Mhm.
just announced that DLC with the extra characters and all that. So that should be pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Shredder's Revenge is fun. I played it with Bird Dog actually. The last game convention we went to, we all got Papa John's pizza and we played Shredder's Revenge.
Hell yeah.
And it was a lot of
Dude,
fun.
Papa John's, best chain. I'll say it.
Oh,
No one
we're
else
about to have
pizza
a
Hut.
war on
No one
here.
else pizza Hut, but,
All right, Tyler, want to go ahead and read the next writing?
Just saying, Craig. Zach said he's hosting us to pizza. That means it's probably gonna be Pizza Hut.
heck
Same.
yeah.
Gonna have
So
to settle.
Settle with the best there is.
John writes in. He says, "Hello, John here once again to tell you my favorite retro-inspired game is my favorite Hotline Miami. It was a blast playing the game. It's my favorite indie game of all time. Hotline Miami,
Fantastic
great
choice.
game. I need to go beat it and play the second one."
Yeah, I really want to play the second one. I don't know why I never got around to it. It's just I think I felt like burnt out after being the first one, not because I didn't like it, but because it kicked my ass so much that I felt like I just needed a break. But it is very good. All right, Zach, we have a write-in for you.
Sipping his water. He's ready.
Hello, boys. Jason here again. I just want to start by saying how much I appreciated Zach reading my comment from last episode, and I hope he's fixed his technical difficulties. But I really appreciate the effort. It goes in and out. It's working right now. We'll see how it works at the end of the comment.
His computer's almost as old as Tyler's, so sometimes
Yeah.
he just has issues.
Got approximately 35 more seconds to it's going to cut out again. Now here are some more of my favorite retro-inspired games. Action platformers, Guacamelee 1 and 2, Yooka-Laylee, A Hat in Time, Metagal, Owlboy, Batboy, Gravity Circuit, Hellpie, and Cookie Cutter. RPG/Adventure, Pier Solar and the Great Architects, Oceanhorn 1 and 2, Mages of Mystralia, Earthlock Reverie, which is the one you mentioned, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Sparklight, RFL, Chained Echoes. Chained Echoes is a game I've had I have a folder in my Switch called Play Soon. It's been in there since December of 2022. It just keeps getting shafted. I need to play that. And then Sea of Stars. Well, those are just a few retro-inspired games I would like to mention. Oh, wait. I forgot to mention one more retro-inspired game that I would like to... The text is getting blurry again. I feel like I need to fix my computer because he said something about Final Fantasy VII and he...
Don't worry, folks.
Remake.
We don't need a computer because I got it on my cellular device.
Damn it.
And
Oh, there
to
you go.
finish
Perfect.
this off, it says, "Oh wait, I forgot to mention, retro inspired, and that would be much better Final
You know,
Oh no, you're cutting
on
you
out.
hear me?
That's-
Sorry.
on the
I'll cut now.
NES."
No, Tyler, you're actually cutting out, which is
Oh, was
really
it
funny.
legit? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I think you're...
Tyler's having technical difficulties too.
All right.
I will save the day.
Yeah,
he
we
said,
got
"Oh
the-
wait, I forgot to mention one more retro-inspired game, and that would be the much better
Hello?
remake of Final Fantasy VII on the NES, which, as you know, is way better than that other remake that we all know."
How was I legit cutting out on that?
I know that was perfect technical error timing because you really were cutting out.
Thank
got
you,
y'all back.
Dinosaur, for the bit. Thank you, Dinosaur.
So I will say I always thought it was so fucking awesome that there is really an NES full demake of Final Fantasy VII. It's really funny
Demakes
that
are great.
exists.
Some of them just look funny.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, you know, Jason, I need to look into some of these because, you know, quite a few that you wrote I've never even heard of. Mages of Mysteria, Hellpie, Cookie Cutter,
So
Sparklight, RFL. I've never heard of any of these, so I got some research I got to do.
some of these, when I watch Jason play them, like when we're in a party on PlayStation and he does like a share screen, Cookie Cutter I feel like would be a good one. It plays like Paper Mario.
Oh, okay.
Hellpie, it plays kind of like Yooka-Laylee, Banjo-Kazooie. You get the whole thing. That one looked neat. And I mean, Yooka-Laylee, I'm sure we might have all played it. That was a great game. I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Speaking of ukulele, real quick.
Kartos. Oh, what? Go ahead.
I was speaking of ukulele. The Impossible Lair, the 2D platform one, it's on sale for $3 right now on the Switch. So
Yeah, dirt cheap.
yeah,
I still got to play that one. I played the original. That was good. Kartos, the Cart of War, was the best character, hands down. Just saying. What else did you say? I never played Guacamelee. Metagal, that's kind of like, that's an easy platinum. That you don't even have to beat the game. It's like Mega Man inspired. You just literally got to play like the first 3 levels, and
That's
you get
funny.
the platinum.
weird.
One of those.
Yeah.
You know what? You
like
mentioned which one was it? You said that was like Paper Mario. You said that was Cookie Cutter.
Cookie
I think
Cutter.
that was, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to shout out real quick. I didn't think of it because I feel like it doesn't have a retro aesthetic, but I had to give a shout out to Bug Fables because that's the best Paper Mario game. So
Bug Fables, 1,000-Year Door.
yes, Bug Fables is so good.
Wow.
Nice.
Well,
Thanks, Jason.
Well.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. For your lovely targeted write-ins.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I guess that about wraps it up. Any other games you want to shout out for the last bit of the show? I think I covered most I could think. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? I won't go deep into it, but Cosmic Star Heroine, really cool. Chrono Trigger inspired.
It's another one I wanna play.
JRPG.
With a
Very
big
very
manual.
good game. Mm-hmm.
I guess all I'll say is indie games are great. Support more indie devs. A lot of cool ideas coming out of indies.
Yes.
that are going to help inspire bigger games in the future. And if you go on Twitter and you just like search indie games, you'll find dozens and dozens of developers desperate to have people play their games.
Yes.
So, check them out.
If you're one of those people that feels like modern gaming is stale for some reason, or you feel like you don't have much to play, you're just not looking in the right places, because indie people are keeping video games alive. And I'm all for one. I'm a cheapo. I wait for games to go on sale. If you can help it, try not to wait for indie games to go on sale. Try to do your best to support these fellas, because usually it's a team of 1 to 10 people, super small. And to keep these dreams alive, we got to put our money where our mouth is. So try your best to support indie devs if you can.
It's true. I agree.
All right, boys. So next episode, we're going to do our favorite Halloween/fall levels. Be sure to write in for that. If you would like to play along with us again, Clock Tower for episode 15 coming up. That's going to be very exciting. I think that's going to be a first-time play for all of us. So thank you all for listening and joining us. Be sure to share this podcast with your friend, your coworker, your grandma. They'd all love it. And we really appreciate you all listening. Any final words, Zach? Would you like to say goodbye to people? Anything you want to promote? Any new videos coming out?
Goodbye to people. Anything you want to promote? Any good videos coming out?
Tyler?
Goodbye, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed this one. One more thing I just wanted to say. At some point, we're going to be doing a live episode, and we're going to do it in New Mexico, like where the landfill was. And we're going to, try to get some ET carts live on the podcast. Just want to put that out there. Otherwise,
episode 926.
Yeah, episode 926. Be there. It's going to be a great episode. But, however, for me, don't know what I want to do next for my channel. I mean, I'm probably going to have a video up soon. Got to figure out what I want to do next. Might do another little stream this weekend. Not sure what I want to stream, but should be fun. We'll see.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe to the boys over here. And if you're interested in Vita, be sure to check out my new video as well. The Vita. And thank you all for watching.
Good, Craig.
Have a good... Oh, that is me. Wow. Look at me on the PlayStation Vita.
Vita means life.
Vita means life.
Look at the Vita on the Vita on the Vita. Okay.
We will see you all in 2 weeks. Take care.
Adios.